APR. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Finding support for my child with ADHD felt overwhelming. I didn't know which direction to take, but Understood.org's resources helped guide me. Now I have the tools I need to keep us moving forward. Visit u.org/yourpath today.
With Target, gifting has never been easier. This Saturday and Sunday, Target gift cards are 10% off with Target Circle. Treat everyone on your list to something you know they'll love. Gift cards for the trendsetters, the techies, the fashionistas, the foodies, and even yourself. The perfect time to save is now. This deal is a yearly fave, so hurry. Get more gifting for your buck and save 10% on Target gift cards with Target Circle for 2 days only. Only at Target. Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Increasing clouds for us this afternoon, a mild high in the mid-50s. For tomorrow, we have a WRAL weather alert day for a winter weather advisory. North of I-85, we can see up to an inch of snow in the morning, and then it changes over to rain. From Raleigh southward, it'll be all rain through the afternoon, highs in the upper 30s.
Bring me all that snow. Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 86 points to 47,796. Market update brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the world's smoothest vodka. Pour Blue Shark Vodka at your holiday events to lift your spirits this season. Blue Shark Vodka, the vodka that doesn't bite. I'm sorry, the shark that doesn't bite.
Gives it off to Holloman. He wants the answer. Big shots up and down, right down the center of the pipe. Stolen McNeil, 15th Auburn turnover. McNeil to the right, finds Copeland down the lane, rises up and tomahawk jam.
His pass intercepted by Svechnikov. He's going to flip it for Jarvis. Jarvis, he's got a hat trick on his stick. Backhand, bingo! Here come the hats! Now it's Ehlers with it. Ehlers hits it across, and he scores!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy Thursday to you all. It is a hockey night in Carolina. It is not a celebration day for the ACC and the ACC-SEC Challenge. Fumbled that one away. But it is still a good day for sports in the Triangle, as it so often is this time of year. So, with that, I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show, and it is time for the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
NC State men's basketball lost to Arkansas last night. 83-73. It's a disappointment. I'll even take it a step further. NC State has been a disappointment, men's basketball. But it is a disappointment of Will Wade's own making. If Will Wade wasn't so defiant in his opening press conference about we're going to win and we're going to win now and we're going to be amongst the best teams now and we're going to make the NCAA and we're going to do all of this, then losing early in his first season as he assembles a roster with transfer portal and freshmen and all of this to a ranked opponent on the road wouldn't have been jarring. But he did make all of those statements. He did raise expectations. He did put his trash talk ahead of the actual play on the court. So I was watching that game last night going, they don't look like a top 25 team. My realistic brain was in the back going, why in the world did you ever think they would look like a top 25 team, particularly this early with so much new coach? And it's not like they were a tournament team last year. Well, because they told me they would be. They said they would. It wasn't me saying it. They're going to win. They're going to win early. They refused to call it a rebuild, right? There was none of that. So because of that, you're watching them on the road against Arkansas, and you're going, don't like this. That little guard is giving them the business. Why isn't Darian Williams scoring more? It's been a disappointment, but it's a disappointment of their own making, which I think is kind of the plan there. Like, I think that was the goal to kind of write a check that you would then have to work so hard to cash. I think that was part of it. But after the game, Will Wade was talking about progress. Right, he was talking about how it was a step forward from where they were in Maui a couple of games ago. It was, a building process, and I get it. I hear it. Makes sense. But a big part of me was also going, yeah, you didn't ask for that. We were willing to. We were willing to give you the on-ramp to speed up. We were willing to give you the runway to get going, and you declined it. So now you're talking about progress. I'm going, you told me you were a finished package. 83-73 the score. We'll talk more about that game in about 10 minutes from now. About 3:15, we'll come back, talk more specifics about what NC State is dealing with as they inch closer to ACC play and need to really ramp it up if they're going to achieve their lofty goals. That's number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
Carolina Hurricanes play tonight against Toronto, 7 o'clock at home, by the way. It is a game at the Lenovo Center. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan, as well as the 99.9 The Fan app. This one, listen, I know we've seen like grainy, it's like a Yeti or Bigfoot or something footage of Jacob Slavin skating in a non-contact jersey.
I have eyewitness. I saw it myself, my own two eyes.
It's great news. He's not playing today. It's a ready. I'm about to go full Will Wade, which I was just making fun of. It's a step in the right direction. It's progress. He ain't playing today. But other than that, it appears as if they're darn near full strength. Okay. Now Jacob Slavin is pretty big. Other than that, right? It's aside from that, how was the play, Miss Lincoln? Like Jacob Slavin is a massive part of that particular defense, but massive part of the team. But from where they were a handful of weeks ago to where they are now, it's night and day as far as health, as far as having guys around, as far as not having to force so many rookies into the lineup. So it'll be really fun to see them go up against a good Toronto team with more of kind of the team they envisioned. I always feel bad for general managers when, and I'm not saying I feel bad for Eric Tolsky, I think he's doing a good job, but I'm saying I feel bad for general managers when they're being judged on the product on the ice or on the field or court or whatever, and it's like, well, that's not the team I put together, right? If the Canes struggled, penalty kill, and you're going like, yeah, but Jacob Slavin was a part of those blueprints that I drew up. Like, he was a big part of that. So, start judging kind of how things come together a bit more now, because they're in a little bit less of survivor mode now that you're expecting a lot of these guys to be coming back. They did not have a morning skate, correct? Which means I haven't seen any of the updates on who we might be putting into net for the Carolina Hurricanes. But
my guess is Freddie Anderson based off practice yesterday.
and based off of the fact that he hasn't played since last Wednesday, is it?
Yeah.
So that's a long time off for a professional athlete, but for a goalie who wants to stay in rhythm, going over a week there. So, Freddie, this is a question we're going to ask later in the show. I'm not going to dive into it too much right now. I just want to prep it. What is a good game for Freddie right now? Right? Are we to the point where we're talking progress and steps in the right direction? And or is it like you have to post a 95 save percentage and you got to, you can't give up anything that's anywhere close to a soft goal? Well, we'll see. We'll talk about it because, the way that they have this goalie triangle going right now, especially if Pyotr Kochetkov comes back and it appears like he's on the way, that's a. You got to start making some decisions on how you're going to divide up the net moving forward. And last point on the Canes before we move on here, we might see Jordan Stahl on the power play unit. You know what's funny? Right, we got the practice reports that he was on power play 1. He was taking face-offs and things. And then after practice, we were just experimenting with something. Rod Brindamore, he called it a demo, right? We were just trying something for one specific play. Then they came out the next game, and he was doing it again. It's like, did the experiment go well enough that you're going to keep it rolling? Did the practice show that the demo should be used more often? It'll be a pretty interesting development if we see Jordan Stahl out there with the man advantage.
By the way, you're talking about Jacob Slavin, the grainy footage and all that stuff. Boris in our YouTube live chat says that did Slavo leave crop circles on the ice?
Maybe. I don't agree with many conspiracy theories, but I like when that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
All those, what is it called? Goodness gracious. Coincidence. All those coincidences that you add them up, you're like, crop circles, anything like that. I'm in. I like it. Good comment. That's number 2. Let's wrap up the big 3 with number 3.
Number 3.
So signing day was yesterday for college football. That used to be like a holiday. That used to be, we'd be watching live streams of coaches sitting by fax machines waiting for letters of intent to come in, and every time one did, they would jump out of their seats for joy and go crazy. Well, how about this? Signing day has been devalued quite a bit by the transfer portal. And I have a perfect example why. Just real quickly, I'll update you on how the local teams did nationally, according to 247 Sports. UNC came in with the 17th recruiting class as it stands right now. NC State 49th, Duke 63rd, if you go to their team rankings right now in recruiting. UNC had 39 recruits, 26 3-stars, 13 4-stars. NC State 49th, 27 recruits, all 3-stars. Duke, 15 commits, 1 4-star, and 14 3-stars. That's the way it breaks down. But here's a good way to think about it. UNC had a great recruiting class. You just heard me, right? They got a quarterback from Georgia, athletes from Michigan, Ohio. There's Alabama. There's local guys. There's Miami. There's Maryland. They went all over the country, recruited a class that has them in the top 20 in the country. Today, from his agency, we learned Kamori House is going to be going into the transfer portal. He is their leading tackler, had 2.5 tackles for a loss, had an interception after transferring from Washington this offseason. So not only do you have to win signing day to really improve your team, you have to win the transfer portal. And I'm not saying they're losing the transfer portal, but I'm saying, Kamori House from production this past year on a defense that was their best unit, they're going to have to replace him and then more if they want to get better. The portal changes everything. Right? Penn State had a historically bad recruiting class. 2 players. Ranked below 24 FCS schools in recruiting. But guess what? If whoever they hire as their next coach shows up with a budget seemingly unlimited and is number 1 in the transfer portal rankings, they might not even be that bad next year. So more so than ever, the signing day is incomplete.
I don't put as much stock into signing day nowadays because, like you said, UNC has 39, NC State has 27. The guys coming in. If you only retain a third of those guys, cool.
Well, actually,
that's kind of the thing.
I agree with you. The only thing I would add is if you're running a culture that is beneficial and players see value in it, then signing day could be huge.
True.
if you're running a culture that as soon as guys show up, right, the old recruiting cliches about coach loves me, and the veterans look at you and go, oh no, you committed already, you're signed. You don't get, that's recruiting coach. An actual coach is a jerk. Nobody likes it here. Like if that's how you run a program, then yeah, signing day means nothing. It means you got a bunch of guys that are going to be on your team until the first chance of transfer portal window opens up and they're gone. But if you run a good program, and even if players aren't playing, they're seeing value and they're seeing themselves improve and they think you're working towards both team and their individual goals and being helpful, signing day could be huge. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big Three at 3 here on The Drive. Coming up next, NC State lost to Auburn, men's basketball last night. It feels like that was a big one for NC State. I'll tell you why next.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. To the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Hey guys, this is Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and we know that you want to get your wife or girlfriend something special this Christmas, but sometimes you just don't know what to get. You wonder, what will she like? What will make her feel special? What will make her say, wow? At Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we have experts that are here to help. We specialize in making you look like a hero. You can even send her in to make a wish list that we keep on file to help make your life just a little bit easier. Bailey's has the largest selection of jewelry in North Carolina, including designers like David Yurman, Lagos, Marco Biccigo, and Apolita, as well as beautifully curated Bailey's collections. And don't fret, because if for some reason she doesn't love your gift, we have a 30-day return policy. Our goal is to be your go-to jeweler for life. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, located in Raleigh's Village District, Cary's Fenton, also in Rocky Mount, Greenville, and Charlotte. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Drives into the foul line now. Touches left corner. Abel, pump fake. Drives in. Dish left wing for Holloman. He floats up a triple and buries it left wing. Trey Holloman. He has 10 points and it's 56-54. Back down 2.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. NC State lost to Auburn last night. They lost by 10. It was a back-and-forth game. They did find themselves down double digits a bunch of times, but they came back. They had a nice little burst right out of the halftime break. They made it a game at times, but for the most part, Auburn, I think I may have said Arkansas earlier. Auburn was keeping them a at-hands distance, right? They were keeping them at arm's length away. Will Wade, after the game, summed up their loss to Auburn.
I thought we were better tonight. We were better than we were in Hawaii tonight. And we got 4 of our 5 game standards. I mean, the reality is they made some threes and we missed threes. And they made some tough threes. But give Hall and Overton credit. They're 2 great players. And they really did a great job. They did a great job tonight. But I'll say this, I mean, look, we don't ever want to lose, but this was way more encouraging than Hawaii in my mind. Now we got to build from here, but this was progress. We made progress in the last week. It didn't show up on the scoreboard today, but if we can keep making progress, I think we'll like where we'll be.
Progress. Talk about progress. Progress. Listen, that's great. I actually, I think what NC State is going through makes sense in a vacuum bunch of new players, new system, new coach, new everything, right? It makes sense that they wouldn't be fully formed, at this point in the season. But our expectations were that they would be better from the jump because at every stretch, Will Wade, leading up to the season, kind of denied our grace. Like, hey, we'll give you some time. When do you think this is a rebuild? How do you plan on using the portal in the future? Like, we wanted to talk about plans long term, and he jumped right in and said, no. We're going to win this year. It's not a rebuild. We're going to win right now. We're going to be among the best teams in the ACC, in the top 4. We're going to be in the NCAA tournament. And they still might be all of those things, but that's now what we're judging you against. Now you have to make up ground to get there. Because after watching particularly the Texas game, where he gave up 100+, and then watching a two-man scoring show by Auburn last night, each guy having 28, 29, whatever they finished with, it's obvious NC State needs to solve some defensive issues. And at the risk of being called Captain Obvious, it's half the game. There's no doubt in my mind that the offensive talent is there. Matter of fact, I didn't know Kadir Copeland could score like he's been the last few games. He's filling it up. He's being aggressive. We know what Darion Williams can do, especially when he gets going. I think he could be a bit more aggressive in getting to the bucket and everything else. We know Paul McNeil can shoot. Everybody's been telling us all offseason. We know Matt Abel has this quickness, this athletic ability as a 5-star freshman. We know their offensive skill set is there, but I'm looking at it going, do we know they can stop? Do we know when the other team scores 6 straight points, they can buckle down and get a stop? And their rotation is that nobody's playing over 14 minutes a game that's taller than 6'9". You can have all the length, all of the perimeter defense that you have. They need help sometimes. They need rim protection. They need dudes behind them. There are flaws thus far, and you can't argue against it. There's no such thing as a perfect roster. There are flaws in the last 4 games that have emerged quite aggressively for NC State. That makes sense. Unless you told me not to expect it. Unless you told me there was something better than that. If I go to, and I don't even know if this is the proper term, right? If I go to, I'm a big stand-up comedy fan. If I go to a stand-up comedy show for somebody who I don't know, right? This isn't somebody that tours. This isn't somebody that had a Netflix special. This isn't, and I'm just going and seeing what's up. I'm going to expect there to be points, jokes that I don't think are funny because I've been to enough stand-up comedy shows that it's rare somebody bats 1,000. Unless you're one of the legends. But if somebody I trust, somebody who I think knows comedy, somebody that's maybe seen more comedy than I will ever see, came up to me and said, no, you need to see this guy. I know he's an unknown. He's hilarious. Every joke, I was rolling. Well, guess what? You may have just made it very difficult for that person to have a successful night in my eyes. I think that's a bit of what's happening here with State. It's actually, I'll use an even better stand-up comedy reference that I should have started with. Jerry Seinfeld, best, whatever, touring, money-making, whatever. I was watching a documentary from a while ago, and the MC said, hey, Jerry, how do you want me to introduce you? He was like, what do you mean? He's like, do you want me to say, star of the biggest show? Do you want me to say most lucrative touring comic of all? What do you want me to say? He was like, oh, I got you. Say, and next, Jerry Seinfeld. He's like, I don't want any accolades. I don't want the greatest comedian in the history of the world because then if my joke is only a 99 out of 100, people are going, that wasn't the best in the world, right? Like Will Wade could have undersold and over-delivered. He could have said, and the NC State Wolfpack basketball team. But instead he said, one of the top teams in the ACC, a team that we are expecting to be this and expecting to be that, the next best, the star of the greatest sitcom television show most lucrative in the history of the world, the NC State Wolfpack. And they came out and they lost to Seton Hall. They squeaked by Boise State. I know it was double digits, but it wasn't as aggressive as that. Lost to Texas, lost to Auburn, and now we're going, that joke wasn't that funny. I chuckled, but I was expecting to guffaw. And again, we don't know Will Wade here in Raleigh as a long-term coach, right? He hasn't been anywhere for more than 2 years in a while, right? We don't know what he is as a long-term coach. So maybe it's all part of the plan, right? Maybe making this feel like a disappointment is part of what he was aiming to do. Maybe he wants that weight room to be angry at lifts right now. Maybe he wants practices to be more intense because these players are hearing it from all angles. Like, oh, you're not what you thought. Oh, that NIL money, what'd that go for? Maybe he's raising the temperature in the room intentionally. Maybe. We got to stick around to find out. Right? Let's talk about like stand-up comedy special, right? We'll be right back after this. Stick around. You got to wait until they play. Kansas on December 13th is really the next time we're going to see them tested. They play UNC Asheville and Liberty. Call those workshops, right? Call those going back to the drawing board. Kansas, you have Ole Miss right before Christmas, Texas Southern in between, and then you're into the ACC schedule. I still believe that they have a ton of talent on that roster. I still believe their offensive potential is crazy. We'll see if they can fix the rest. And maybe they got to play some guys with some more size. We'll see. They have some that are on the bench, some guys that are playing, 14-ish minutes. But they might need a little bit more size. I don't know if that's the issue. Again, Will Wade has forgotten more about basketball than I'll ever know. But I can tell you, losing 3 out of 4 with the way I was expecting this season to go is not the way to build hype. Maybe to build motivation. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and not to mention, maybe I'm a little extra angry because that loss helped the ACC fumble away a 3-game lead on day 2 in the ACC-SEC Challenge. But now, let me calm myself down because I actually have something nice for you guys to talk about. Tim Donnelly here for Manor Service Company. The reason why I say it's nice is because they do quality work. The reason why I say it's nice is because they are constantly training their technicians to make sure they are up to date and knowledgeable on any kind of heating system, cooling system, plumbing situation, electrical situation you may have in your house. I wouldn't call myself handy. I would call myself just handy enough to do some things, but growing up, my dad is handy. I was always the like second guy, the go get the wrench guy. And I can tell you right now, you move into a house, you start doing work on your house, you're doing electric, you're cutting any walls, you get to the point where you're like, oh, I see what they did here. It's jerry rigged. That's not exactly up to code, but let's see. And you try to get it all fixed up. Manor Service Company not only can recognize what that previous owner tried to do here, they recognize the right way to set it back up and fix it. And that goes for heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. It goes for it all. So then the next time someone is working on your house, they're like, oh, yeah, person that did this, they know what they were doing. Nothing better than doing some electrical work and you see all the wires labeled, organized correctly, the right caps where they're supposed to be, and it's just like beautiful. That's how Manor Service Company does their work. Give them a call, 919-361-0993. Also, side note, nothing worse than looking at it as a rat nest of wires going in every direction, untangled, and Again, the number to get it done right by Manor Service Company, 919-361-0993, or visit them online, manorservices.com. We have the Dean's List coming up next. You don't want to miss it. Stick around.
Football season is here, and you can watch all the games at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars, Carolina Ale House. With a massive beer selection, wall-to-wall TVs, and our award-winning wings, you'll never miss a play. Add in our lineup of homemade favorites, and you've got the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your appetite, and help us create that nationally recognized game day atmosphere all season long at Carolina Ale House. Wings, beer, sports, repeat. Ale Oh, yeah.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Tim, I'm receiving an important update.
Ooh, are you getting night vision?
No. I just found out you could get $200 with Navy Federal Credit Union when you refinance your auto loans from another lender.
So, no night vision?
No night vision.
Learn more at NavyFederal.org/auto loans. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Refinance loan must be at least $5,000 to be eligible for the $200. Terms and conditions apply.
Give it up for Chicago.
Sebastian Maniscalco's new stand-up special, It Ain't Right, is now streaming on Hulu.
30 years ago, Jeff Bezos, complete nerd. Bezos now ripped to shreds on his super yacht, and the boxes keep coming.
Watch Sebastian Maniscalco, It Ain't Right, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Coach Saban here, and let me tell you, every second matters. Preparation is everything, and that's why I trust Kidda Smoke Alarms.
And as North America's #1 home fire safety brand, they're built to respond over 25% faster to smoke detection. Kidda helps protect what matters the most. Find it at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. #1 claim based on total household installations as of December 2023. 29% faster average smoke detection based on internal testing of smoldering wood fires for Kidda 9th edition versus leading competitor 8th edition products.
Wilson takes the snap, runs up the middle, charges, backward, goal line, touchdown. 3-yarder, Will Wilson, his 4th rush TD of the ball game.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Shout out to D on Twitter. Apparently I was calling Auburn Arkansas.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the show you accidentally did that. I'll take the blame on that one because yesterday I accidentally said Arkansas instead of Auburn, and I think that's what got stuck in your head. So I'll take that one.
That'd have been subconscious. What I can tell you is I watched the entire game at Auburn, and for some reason this morning it was Arkansas in my brain. So it was Auburn, and I know that because Bruce Pearl was there. He's pumping up the crowd. His son was coaching, and then never mind. I don't have to explain anything. But thank you to Demetrius. I do appreciate when people correct me online. I'd much rather be corrected than be misspeaking on air. So be my fact checkers out there if you don't mind. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Along those lines, fact checking, proofreading, editing. Let's talk college. Let's talk college sports in the Dean's List. All right, this is a bit of a backhanded Dean's List, okay? There's just this first entry. It's a little, we're honoring somebody, giving them the extra praise, but it might be more about the people that are not being honored. Virginia basketball is on the Dean's List because they were the only team last night in the ACC that decided to carry the Atlantic Coast Conference flag proudly in the ACC-SEC Challenge. The ACC was up 6-3 through 9 games. Through day 1, 6-3. Day 2, all you had to do was win 3 of 7. 3 of 7, you win the ACC-SEC Challenge. 2 out of 7. Sorry. No, that's right. 3 would have won it, right? 2 out of 7, we tie. Got 1. Got 1 out of 7. You went 1-6 on day 2. Thank goodness Virginia showed up. Got the only win of the evening. Prevented from getting skunked. The winners for the ACC and the ACC SEC Challenge: Duke, UNC, Syracuse, Virginia Tech in overtime, Miami, Notre Dame, Cal, and Virginia. A part of me looks at that and gets a little worried. Because Duke, UNC, Miami, Virginia, these are the teams that have been in Final Fours recently. And the ACC can't just be a small group at the top and the also-rans, right? You need to have depth, or else every time one of those strong teams plays a lower team, the net ranking just goes down, and they don't make up as much because you're playing these teams that the net rankings say are low quad. So you need to win games. You need to win non-conference games. The ACC losers were Wake, Pitt, Florida State, number 6, Louisville. You lost, ironically, to number 22, Arkansas, who I'll call Auburn right now just to make up for it earlier. Clemson, SMU, NC State lost to Auburn. BC in overtime to LSU and Georgia Tech. So Virginia gets in because they're the only team that won last night. But come on! Needed more from that out of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Do you have a Dean's List you'd like to throw in here, Dennis?
I actually have a few.
Let's hear them.
I like to throw in these ACC schools: Virginia, Florida State, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech.
Wake and Georgia Tech.
UVA, Florida State, Wake, Georgia Tech.
UVA.
These are all teams that finish in the top 10 in the country in college football on social media engagement growth from last year to this year. So total percentage growth of social media for their football team from last year to this year. The third highest growth out of any college football program in the nation was Virginia. Fourth highest growth of any team in the nation was Florida State. Fifth highest growth year over year in social media engagement, Wake Forest football. Fifth highest in the country. Now, again, this isn't cumulative total views or engagement.
So if they started with 100 followers, percentage-wise, it's kind of easy to make a jump.
Exactly. But Virginia made a 124% jump. Florida State, 83.5%. Wake Forest, 80.9% jump.
See, this is a topic. I didn't know you were going this way, but this is a topic where like my media mind and my sports minds kind of overlap here. Because I look at Wake and I go, well, from Dave Clawson to Jake Dickert, that's very much like, what's that my face stuff you're doing? To, yeah, let's post. Like, that's just vibes of coach to switch. UVA hasn't really been good in the social media era, and now they're in the ACC championship. So that makes sense.
That helps.
Florida State and Georgia Tech, I have a hard time. I can't explain those. And usually I like to find, the easiest solution. So I don't know.
Florida State could have been early on in the year when they beat Alabama, could have boosted that tremendously as well.
Yeah, maybe they just hired a good social media manager and they're quippy and clever.
And they're also just saying, you know what? Hey, look at that Florida State. Look at them. Aren't they cute over there?
You think that's how the world looks at Florida State now?
It might. Oh, look at you just barking over there in the corner.
And Georgia Tech, I'm sure viral stuff from Brent Key and Haynes King. They have some personality. Back to the Dean's List we go. I just want to give a shout out to these two. It's not local, but I think it's fascinating. Edge rusher Jackson Ford and quarterback Peyton Falzone, both prospects in the signing class on signing day yesterday from Pennsylvania that signed with Penn State. They're the only two that signed with Penn State. They stayed committed to Penn State without a coach. You can't teach that kind of loyalty. Like, I don't even know who you're being loyal to at this point. Just the logo and the practice jerseys, I don't know, but it's fascinating. Right? They could have bailed. By the way, both 4 stars, so had options. You always hear a new coach shows up and they want their guys. They're like, no, we would like to not be the coach's guys. I just want to be the people that are there when he shows up. I will sign today, and they did. It's an interesting amount of loyalty from Jackson Ford and Peyton Falzone. I'm I'm going to follow their careers to see how it works out for them. Last one, a head coach, college football coach in the Triangle whose season is over. I'm putting Bill Belichick on the Dean's list. He was the only coach finalist that advanced to the finalist group for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is becoming one of those things that I can't look away from. It's like a train accident, right? I don't want to watch it, but I can't stay away from it. Last year, they inducted 4, despite having a backlog of deserving Hall of Famers in the modern player category, right? You can put in up to 5. They elected, because they didn't have enough make the threshold of yes votes, to have a partial class, despite having Torrey Holt waiting his time, Luke Kuechly waiting his time, Eli Manning waiting his time, Steve Smith Sr. waiting his time, Reggie Wayne waiting his time, Hines Ward waiting. Like, all these people are going to get in, and you just elected to slow it down. Now, I'm gonna read you the 9 names that were in the coaches semifinalist category. Bill Belichick, 2-time Super Bowl winning head coach Tom Coughlin, Super Bowl winning head coach Mike Holmgren, Chuck Knox, who's a 3-time coach of the year, Buddy Parker, Dan Reeves, Marty Schottenheimer, George Seifert, and 2-time Super Bowl winning champion coach Mike Shanahan. They didn't even make it to the finals. Now, obviously, I don't put any of those guys I mentioned up against Belichick. Like, Belichick has 6 of them things. But 8 if you include coordinator. But I don't know. I just don't get it. Do you know what I really respect about the Golf Hall of Fame? It's not a 100% going to happen. But if you win 2 majors, it's like everybody just knows. And they just assume. If you're a head coach of 2 Super Bowl champions, that's not a fluke, right? Like, one, okay,
that's not an accident.
You know it twice, how difficult it is to win a Super Bowl? It's got to be like, yeah, you know what? You know, there's no rule about it. It's one of those unwritten ones, but you're getting in. Tom Coughlin and Mike Shanahan, at least. And a bunch of the other guys as well that I mentioned, but those guys, at least. But congratulations to Belichick. He'll get in, first ballot, all that stuff. And I in a twist of irony, another one that made the finalist in that kind of other category, not the modern players, Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots.
Go figure.
They're going to go in like back-to-back. Their speeches are going to be back-to-back.
They should introduce each other.
I want Belichick to go last. I don't care when. I don't care where they go in the day. I want Kraft to go before Belichick so he can be honest. I think you might let him loose. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Dean's List. Dismiss that bad boy because Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
That's right, I do. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I know this time of year, the holidays, we just had Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all these kinds of things that are going to be coming up. I know a lot of holiday eating and all that kind of stuff taking place. I totally understand it. So probably people are thinking, well, maybe I'll just wait to the new year to get started on the weight loss journey. So that way I can get through all the holiday stuff. I asked you this question. Why not both? Why not enjoy the holidays and still some of the foods and stuff that you can enjoy and lose weight at the same time? Raleigh Weight Loss Center, their whole goal is to make you lose weight in the natural way, which is resetting and restarting your metabolism. That way your body can burn the fat off the way it knows it can. No shots or injections, no steroids, surgeries, anything like that. None of the nasty side effects, just your body doing the natural thing. And the reason why I say, why wait till the new year? Imagine starting the new year 10, 15 pounds less than what you are right now. I've been on the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've lost 42 pounds in 4 months, and I've been maintaining that weight even with the holidays and stuff and some of the extra eating and things on those lines because my metabolism has been reset and restarted, and I've been able to burn off the food I've been eating because of the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've been in that maintenance phase and actually have decided as well, like, you know what? I actually want to lose a little bit more. I want to lose 10 more. I want to hit that 50-pound mark, and I know exactly what I need to do because the plan at Raleigh Weight Loss Center, it's easy to follow, and that's the thing about it. It's a plan. They give it to you right from the get-go. Hey, follow this, you'll see results. I guarantee that you will. I guarantee you'll see results in some way, shape, or form. I'm living, breathing, walking proof that you can see results. And if you have curiosity or want to learn more about the Raleigh Weight Loss Center program, visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or give them a call, 919-897-7506, and set up a free 15-minute phone consultation. Find more about the program. If you have any medical history or anything along those lines, you want to figure out if it works for you, if you have questions or concerns, bring that all to the table, get your questions asked. It's a free 15-minute phone call. 919-897-7506 or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. And when you do sign up with the program, use the promo code LOSEIT. Lose it. Mention that promo code when you sign up. You'll save 20%. That deal runs from now all the way through December 19th. You'll save 20% on the amazing program over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. 919-897-7506. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Use the promo code Lose It. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Coming up next, we spoke with Manny Diaz, the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils football team, which is playing in the ACC Championship Saturday at 8 o'clock up there in Charlotte. Manny Diaz talked about the College Football Playoff Committee and how they might look at an ACC champion Duke squad, as well as what it's going to take for his team to beat Virginia. That conversation is coming up next right here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere.
Bank of America is a nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
When building clients come knocking, open the door to the best products and service at Commercial Openings, your one-stop shop for everything commercial swinging doors and door hardware. Commercial Openings has over 2,000 doors in stock, and we have on-staff consultants to help you pick the right doors and hardware for your project. We also stock bathroom partitions and accessories such as grab bars and mirrors. Come see our showroom at 3904 Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh, or see our impressive inventory at commercialopenings.com.
We know you're hot to see a Carolina Hurricanes game in person. Visit 999thefan.com or fire up the Fan app and enter to win a pair of tickets and parking for the Canes-Columbus game on December 9th. Check out our Hurricanes hot ticket giveaway at 999thefan.com.
Hello, I'm Jen, and I work in the service department with Newcomb & Company in the Triangle. I've worked at Newcomb & Company for over a decade and can tell you firsthand our comfort contract is hands down the best way to stay worry-free and comfortable in your home. In fact, the program works so well, we have over 4,000 customers who use it. Folks love it because when you sign up for the comfort contract, you get the best service Newcomb offers. We prioritize contract members with same-day service, priority scheduling, and emergency after-hours calls. So there's no waiting when your system needs help. On top of that, Newcomb & Company is a proud independent Trane dealer. We back exceptional Trane products with our expert service, and we treat your home like it's our own. It's hard to stop a Trane, and it's hard to beat Newcomb & Company service. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com to learn more about our comfort contract. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
'Tis the season for cozy nights and big games. Celebrate with Surfside, made with real vodka. Only 100 calories and 0 bubbles for smooth sipping. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No, we'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We are joined once again by the head coach of Duke football, Manny Diaz, ahead of the ACC championship game against Virginia in Charlotte, 8 p.m. this Saturday. Coach, congratulations on a great regular season, obviously in the ACC championship. Are you excited to just mess everything up and throw the rankings and start arguments all across the country with a win involving the CFP rankings?
Let's do it. There's not enough arguments in college football as it is anyway, right? So let's kick the anthill a little bit more.
Which I'm all for. I'm a fan of chaos. But does the discourse or the rankings and the explanations, does that change the way you run your program at all moving forward? Maybe even considering your non-conference schedule?
No, not at this point. No, we're look. We've been on a journey, and it's helped us grow. It's made us a better team as time has gone on, and I think it's prepared us. I think there's a reason why we're in the ACC championship game, and that's part of what we've learned about ourselves as a program going through the year.
You've also learned about your quarterback, right? Darian Mensah leading the ACC in passing yards, passing touchdowns, 7-5 ACC championship game. Has he lived up to your expectations now that you have the full regular season in your rearview?
Oh, he's been phenomenal. If not exceeded. I mean, he's just been, and it's not even just on the field. It's just the confidence he gives our entire football team. But his humility and how he prepares, and then his confidence on game day is really the model for how we want to be.
Have the conversations about his future beyond this year popped up? Have you had to have those conversations?
He feels good about his future here, but again, right now we're just focused on a game this weekend.
All right, Manny Diaz, head coach Duke football, joining us here on The Drive. Kind of along those lines, it seems like this season is not over. Actually, it doesn't seem like this season is not over in college football. But with the job changing, the portal talk, does it frustrate you at all that you and your team are so locked in on chasing championships? Meanwhile, maybe other coaches and other teams that are still in the mix for the big goals are chasing other things like jobs or money or whatever it is?
Well, we have a calendar problem. We tried to make it better. It is better, but it's still not right, and we don't protect the sanctity of our season. In pro sports, is used the National Football League, right? They play their season out, and then there's a little bit period of time, and then free agency comes, and then the draft comes. And because we still are academic institutions, and there's this desire for transfers to be able to enter at the mid-year, so we have this January portal, and so what happens is everybody has to hire coaches and fire coaches and do all this type of stuff in ahead of that portal window. If we would just move our player movement period till after the season was completed, there wouldn't be this great angst of having to move. And as you mentioned, to have coaches have to leave playoff teams, it's so unfortunate because the people who lose in this are the players, and every rule we do should be for what's best for the players. So it's unfortunate, but it's something that the powers that be, whoever they are, need to get to work on.
I love that, whoever they are. So as soon as I find out, I'll let you know. I don't know who's making all these decisions, but a calendar question, right? This week's signing day. How difficult, or what are the obstacles for you and your staff dealing with signing day this week while you're also getting ready for a conference championship?
Well, fortunately, it's actually better than what it used to be. Signing day used to be in 3 weeks, and so you would have had to deal with preparing for the game and also being on the road. December is now a dead period. Our guys who all signed with us have been committed to us since the summertime. So this was just really putting a pen to paper, which was good. So it wasn't a major distraction, and we're happy to get the guys in that we got.
Manny Diaz, head coach Duke football, connecting with us here on the phone lines. ACC championship against Virginia in Charlotte, 8 p.m. on Saturday. Since narratives matter, obviously, right? The committee, they are humans, right? They're in there with their own biases and own beliefs. Have you started thinking about the points you might make in a post-game interview to campaign for your team if a CFP spot is on the line and in those people's decisions?
No, heck no. No, I'm just trying to think about what wins the game. And I know that winning that game would give us a win that would be much better than any win of a second group of five conference champion would have. And so, and to do it on that stage with what's at stake. So all I'm concerned about is Virginia.
Did you ever think that might not be enough? Winning the ACC championship might not be enough to guarantee a spot in something like a 12-team playoff?
It'll be enough. I'm convinced it'll be enough. The ACC championship will always be in the college football playoff.
I hope you're right. I sometimes question some things, but I hope you are right on that one. Manny Diaz, Duke head football coach, connecting with us here. Focusing on the game, what are the keys to stopping Virginia and coming home as a conference champion?
Well, the big thing, it's possession downs. They're an elite possession down team, so good on third down offense. They get the third down a lot, but they convert so often. We've got to be able to get off the field on defense to get the ball back to our offense. That's what hurt us last time. And then the same token when the other side of the ball is on the field, we've got to limit third down and longs so we can sustain drives against them. So that's the football part of it. I think the most important part of it is that we come with the proper mindset. Our guys don't believe that they played their best that day, and they know they'll have to play their best to be able to beat this really good football team.
Can you obviously keeping third downs and shorts? A lot of times the running game plays into that. Can you talk to me about the development of Nate Shepard? He's already getting some postseason awards and accolades, but as a freshman, I know I wasn't necessarily expecting this kind of a explosion from him this year.
Yeah, he's just so impressive, and you said the word explosion. He's got such explosive potential, that he's a threat when he touches the ball to make big plays happen. And so, as time's gone on, his role has increased, and he's becoming more comfortable with the offense and pass protections and all that comes with playing even when the ball's not in your hands. So he's a great weapon for us. He'll be in a really important factor of the dictating who wins and loses on Saturday.
Looking at the defensive side of the ball up against an offense like Virginia's, the Chandler Rivers, the Anthony Juniors, your stars, how do they, assuming that you're okay with me calling them stars, how do you make sure their impact is felt against Virginia's offense?
Yeah, you have to win your one-on-ones, right? And so there's different ways to do that. And again, with a quarterback as good as Morris is, whether it's a guy like Rivers who's, got to do a great job of coverage and make the quarterback hold on to the ball to allow a guy like Anthony come home. So, defense is such 11 guys operating as one to have success. And so your best players have to be your best players, as you mentioned, on a stage like that. And those guys are excited to make an impact.
Now, I don't want to overstate any kind of importance that we have here at the show, but we have a microphone, we have a signal, and fans listen. Is there anything we can do to help your campaign if need be? Is there something you want us to focus on and say, or anything like that we can pass to the fan base?
I mean, listen, the easiest thing is this. This will be the 10th bowl-eligible opponent we've played against this year. There's only 5 teams that have played 9 or more bowl-eligible teams, and we're doing one of those teams that are bowl-eligible ourselves. And so to get another high quality win, like beating a Virginia in this stage and, no different than winning at Clemson, these are just things that I just don't think these other schools have the capability of doing. So there's something about playing week in and week out in a Power 4 conference. There's a reason why the Power 4 conferences are called the Power 4 conferences, and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in that. And then no different than how the University of Miami should be in the playoff as well. Based off of their body of work and their 2 losses to Louisville and SMU, who are as good as anybody in the country. So it's all about our league, and it's about supporting our league and not allowing people to just try to use narratives to keep us out.
Manny, we appreciate the time away from your prep and everything going on for the ACC Championship. Good luck this weekend, and hopefully we're able to catch up again soon.
Okay, thanks.
Once again, that's Manny Diaz, head coach Duke football, ahead of the ACC Championship game on Saturday. A lot of good stuff there, and that video, or the interview, I should say, we posted on our app, YouTube channel, all those things. If you missed anything or you want to rehear it,
we'll run it during overdrive as well,
and we'll run it during overdrive. So in that 6 to 6:30 portion of the programming, 2 things stood out to me, and I just want to reference them quickly. One, this is why you got to ask the coaches. I would have assumed having a signing day in the middle of your prep for an ACC championship game would have been a nightmare. And logically, he goes, actually, it used to be worse because signing day used to not be for a while. And that meant we were on the road this week trying to recruit and talk to people face to face. And now it is, once you get them signed, you're just waiting for those guys to, make their commitment. So it's actually less work than it used to be. And then secondly, the stat he gave at the end, right, where he was kind of making his argument or telling us what argument to make for Duke if they win the ACC championship to get into the CFP. listen, there are a billion ridiculous arguments out there for any of probably 20 or 25 teams to be in the CFP. And I'm hearing a ton of them. But I thought that was actually a really good one. They've played 10 bowl-eligible teams this year. 10. There are only 5 teams that have faced 9 or more bowl-eligible teams, and Duke is the only one that is bowl-eligible themselves. So anybody else in the country maybe didn't play the top toughest schedule, but played the most consistently challenging schedule, where darn near every week you're facing a team that finished with 6 or more wins. Every other team that's faced a consistently tough schedule like Duke was unable to win 6 games. They've won 7, and they're playing for their 8th in a conference championship game. If you're taking all context in, I think that's a pretty good argument there.
That's fair.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break, but when we come back, football at 4. The Bryce Young conversation, the train is off the tracks again. Thought we were on the tracks for a second. We're loose locomotive right now. Stick around.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary, the original home of the no-closing cost mortgage. Back in 1987, after closing my first no-cost loan, I knew that one day it'd become the trademark of my future mortgage company. I'd been a loan officer for less than a year and began to notice this trend of homeowners chasing lower rates while paying upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 in closing costs, in some cases twice in a year. Imagine giving up $40,000 of equity when all you wanted was a lower payment. And as much as I hate to say it, it's still happening 38 years later. Now, had I been like everyone else, I would have simply charged the fees and moved on. But I couldn't. Think for a minute about how many times your bank reached out to offer a free rate reduction and waived your closing costs. At Miller Lending, we want to be your loan partner for life. So why not pick up the phone and say goodbye to closing costs forever? 919-447-3377, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender on MLS number 250-2146.
Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I.
Sir, this is Monopoly money.
And there's more where that came from.
I'm calling the cops.
Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Start playing for real money. New Monopoly scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have real cash wins of up to $1 million. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.83 to 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Increasing clouds for us this afternoon with a high of 56. And then tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day with a winter weather advisory for our northern counties. Around midnight, we'll begin to see precipitation starting as rain from Raleigh southward. But north of Raleigh, north of I-85, we can see some snow and then wintry mix. It all ends by around 11 o'clock, but continues as rain in our southern counties. Tomorrow's high only 37.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. The Dow Jones today at the closing bell down 31 points to 47,851.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Bryce Young has been playing very well over the last month, especially the Atlanta and the Rams game. There is a classic case Classic case. I might even have to rename the theory here. We have a classic case of the Ring of Honor complex going on here. Okay? I'm saying this to get ahead of everyone calling me a hater. The Ring of Honor complex is a sports phenomena that I've noticed in my time in media where you take a player who is very good, should go into an NFL Ring of Honor, should go into their team's Ring of Honor, should have their jersey retired by a team, and you say they're a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. Because now I have to step in the interest of fairness and logic and reason, and say, well, no. Here are all the reasons he's not a first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer. And that makes me sound like a hater, when in actuality, I think he should be like a Ring of Honor guy. Think of Tony Romo. Think of Donovan McNabb. Think like he's a Hall of Famer. It's like, no. I do believe he should go up in the Eagles or the Cowboys Ring of Honor. I think he should be celebrated. I think he should be a legend in those cities. He's not a Hall of Famer. And I have to explain that they have no MVPs, no Super Bowls. I think they have to explain that their stats aren't in this and that, and in big games they did this. And I'm hating just because you got out over your skis and started putting them into conversations they shouldn't be in. That's happening with Bryce Young right now. Go listen to our show if you haven't done so already on YouTube from Monday reacting to the Rams game. We were gumdrops and rainbows. That was a great win. Bryce Young made every throw he had to make. He went downfield on 4th down twice, which is rare to do once, and he hit the jackpot both times. Managed the game well. It was a really, really good game. Some of you have taken it too far. Joe Person of The Athletic, who, by the way, does a really good job. And I encourage you to go check out his writing and subscribe to everything on The Athletic because, like I said, he does a really good job. He had a mailbag, right? That is a quintessential bye-week activity, right? Takes all the readers of his work and solicits questions and then goes ahead and answers them. One of the questions was about Bryce Young's 5th-year option, right? A lot of people are talking about it. And he gave, reasons, and he's playing this well, and this is what he's done for his career. You can go read it. But then I'll just read you this section. Joe Person on The Athletic. The decision to pick up Young's 5th-year option before the May 1st deadline at an estimated $26.5 million per over the cap is an easy one, considering the top 11 highest-paid quarterbacks of all time are more than $50 million a year. Sorry, the top, not of all time, quarterbacks all, so the top 11 highest-paid quarterbacks all are more than $50 million a year. Not of all time, just the active. The question, Joe Person continues, is whether the Panthers want to make Young the next member of that $50 million club, and if so, when? We just got to the should they pick up the 5th-year option for $26.5 million conversation, and we're all now, should they pay him $50 million? I have to go ahead. I was just entertaining the 5th-year option, and I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was like, hey, he's earned the way. Let's be positive here, right? Last year, for sure not. At times early in this year, for sure not. It's positive. He's worked his way into, they might pay him $27 roughly million for 1 year of playing football. That's good. That's a huge, think of how far he's come from the basement of the Bryce Young era. To have us now talking about maybe $27 million for 1 season to play football. And as soon as we're having that conversation, you got to start talking about, is he worth 50 plus? And we had this conversation yesterday, and people on Twitter hit me up going, 27 is a steal, right? The best guys are making 50, 55 million. And I'm going, well, it's only a steal if he's playing as well as the 50, 55 million guys. The top 11 highest paid quarterbacks are all worth more than $50 million a year. Okay, but what if you're not one of the top 11 quarterbacks? What if you're borderline top 20? Paying $27 million to a player is only a steal if you assume he is worth 50, 55. If you assume he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Every game that somebody who is paid $50 million a year plays like a $10 million a year player, you have to make up that difference. You have to win despite him. Let's not take a good stretch. Let's not take, hey, won 7 games. Above 500. Let's stay reasonably optimistic about that and say he's showing things that are much better than what he's shown in the past. Let's be reasonably positive. It's when you think of where you were 6 games ago with Bryce. 6 games ago. You were screaming. I almost guarantee you were screaming about, just give it to Rico. Rico, every play. Ask Bryce to do less. Rico, every play. You were arguing with me about whether he could realistically throw for 200 yards a game. Now, he's had 2 very good games out of the last 6. He's had a couple others that they pulled out a win despite low production from him. And he had a real clunker against the Saints. And suddenly that is good enough to take him from, no, he can throw for 200 yards a game, to $50 million. And by the way, I'm not saying Joe has suggested he should. I'm just saying the conversation is so far into the future. So far into the future. And do you know what's crazy about those $50 million quarterbacks? The craziest part about the $50 million quarterbacks is if they're what they should be, they're a deal at $50 million. Quarterbacks are they impact winning so much. It's the same thing I talk about when trading, right? When they traded for the pick that got Bryce Young, it's very much if Bryce Young turns into a Hall of Fame 15-year starter, it's a steal. And that's the only reason you trade up for somebody in that case, right? You could give 2 more first-round picks, and it would have been a steal if he was as good as a quarterback should be for you to make that trade. But the vice versa is true too, right? Right? If you trade for quarterbacks are very rarely middle of the road for 15 years, right? They're either franchise legends are not that good if they're around for 15 years. So if you traded a first-round pick and a second-round pick and the guy busts, you overpaid. Mm-hmm. If you give 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks and he turns into a franchise legend you want to build a statue about, you got a deal. That's the way quarterbacks work. They're so important to winning. And the same is true. If you pay a guy $27 million and he is a steal, he'd probably be a steal at 50. Right? Like the quarterbacks that are making $42 million, for them to be a value at $42 million, it's nearly impossible to be worth like 43. You're either worth 80 or you're worth 10. Like it's so yeah, I guess if you can get the $80 million a year quarterback for $20 million, hats off to you. That doesn't last very long in the NFL.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield makes 33.3, Sam Darnold 33.5, Matt Stafford 40, Patrick Mahomes 45.
And many of those guys, like the Patrick Mahomes, that's a choice by him.
Yeah.
He could walk into the Chiefs and say, this is what I want, and they would say, good. Let us work. Give us 10 days to work on the cap.
Yeah.
We got to buy some guys out, but we'll get it done. But like Baker Mayfield, right? Baker Mayfield, he signed, when he signed with the Bucs, obviously he didn't have a ton of leverage, right? He tanked his value in Carolina, built up some of it with the Rams. But when he signed with the Bucs, he was a steal. He's still a steal. What do you say, 30-something?
33.3.
That'll go up this offseason. But he's a steal at 33. He'd be a steal at 45. He'd be a good deal at 50 and 55, the way he played last year and early this year before everybody started getting hurt. My point is this. Bryce Young ain't in that conversation yet. And because you're putting him in that conversation, you're making me sound like a hater, despite the fact that I think we should be positive about Bryce. You don't want to make me bring up the number of games that he's played really well versus the number of games where he has played not that well.
One's a lot lower than the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can guess which way that ratio turns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hating on Bryce. I think he's taken a lot of steps forward this year. But from where he was, there was a lot of room for steps forward. Right? It's kind of along the lines of what you were saying with the Twitter followers earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the what was it? I haven't written down here. UVA, Florida State, Wake Forest, and Georgia Tech football programs are in the top 10 growth on their social media platforms of all football social media accounts. That's percentage growth. If you start with 100, you get 100 followers, 100 more, that's 200%, right? You just doubled up, or 100% growth.
Mm-hmm.
You just doubled up. Meanwhile, if you had 100,000 and you got 100 more followers, it's not that great, right? You need to do more. Bryce started with 100 followers this year. I'm like, hey, look at this. He's 100 times his followers. You're going, he's got 9 million and he's got the most followers on Twitter. I'm like, whoa, that's not true. I'm celebrating the victories over here. You're making up parades.
I know you said over the last month because you have the game against the Rams. Obviously, there's the game against the Falcons, but let's also not forget there's the game with the Saints and there's the game against the 49ers. And that's all intertwined, mixed in with each other. So he hasn't even strung together really this season, consecutive good games.
There you go. But I don't want to have to say that. Like, I think we should be celebrating that he's had good games every other game recently because it's been a long time since he's put together good games every other game. But because you act like he's had good games in every game, not you, meaning the universal you, I have to point out the bad. And that's Ring of Honor complex making me feel like a hater. I don't like feeling like a hater. I don't like drinking haterade. I don't. Although some of you probably think I do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I definitely would not be drinking the haterade at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Matter of fact, Bailey's Fine Jewelry, they've been having these like pop-up bar situations with some drinks where you walk around. You can check out the pre-owned and vintage Rolex, see what's in stock, what's walking through that door, as well as the entire selection of not just watches. And by the way, I could talk about watches all day, and I do often talk about watches all day when I'm talking about Bailey's Fine Jewelry. But also, since it's the holiday season, while you're checking out watches for yourself, maybe look for a gift. Or what about this? Walk just outside the Fox and Bailey watch shop, which is inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location, or walk just outside the Omega Boutique, the largest of its kind in the country, which is located inside the Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Village District as well, and meander around their jewelry section, right? The main showcase, the main showroom. Maybe there's a gift for somebody in your life that'll call out to you there. And you could win the holiday season in a different way. Yes, grab yourself a pre-owned vintage Rolex, a Hamilton, a Norcane, a Glasutte, right? Grab yourself a Bananas watch and grab yourself a gift for someone else in your life, some earrings, some necklaces, diamonds, diamond studs. There's a lot of different options there. Some purses, some estate jewelry. Check it out. It's all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and they have experts in every different case, right? In every different section, there are experts. So if you know watches, if you're deep in the watch game like I am, but you don't know as much about, opals or onyx, they have someone there that can help you out. Gemologists. They're really good at what they do. Let them know when you're there at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Village District that you heard about it from me, Tim, right here on 99.9 The Fan. You learn something new about yourself every day. Apparently, when I'm throwing out examples of precious gems, precious stones, I go right to opals and onyx. That's where I start.
Oh, yeah?
Diamonds and rubies and everything. No, I go to opals and onyx.
You don't go to sapphires?
God, would have made sense. There's a lot of other ones that would have made sense. That's not where my brain goes. But they are all available at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have ACC basketball cons and cons. What are you most confident and most concerned about for the ACC teams in the Triangle? But also start thinking about first goal scorer predictions. Who's going to score the first goal of the game for the Carolina Hurricanes? And in what period do you think they will score it? That's for tonight against Toronto. First goal scorer predictions and cons next.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Toronto.
Blake with a shot. He scores! Oh, what a one-man
show from Jackson Blake, and he ties it at 1.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Jarvis back for Walker. He scores! Carolina takes the 3-2 lead.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent Trane dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Here's Megan with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Are sleepless nights affecting your life? Parkway Sleep Health Centers can help. We've treated sleep disorders in the Triangle and beyond for over 20 years. We offer sleep studies, office visits, CPAP machines, supplies, and more. And our streamlined process allows us to see you sooner and usually saves hundreds of dollars.
End sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Tim, I'm receiving an important update.
Ooh, are you getting night vision?
No, I just found out you could get $200 with Navy Federal Credit Union when you refinance your auto loans from another lender.
So, no night vision?
No night vision.
Learn more at NavyFederal.org/auto loans. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Refinance loan must be at least $5,000 to be eligible for the $200. Terms and conditions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, we are in a different kind of sports season starting on Monday at 99.9 The Fan, the giving season. Once again, we are back with our station tradition, the 10 Days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's and Surfside Vodka. Starting December 8th, that is Monday, we will celebrate our connection to our hometown hockey team in one of our favorite ways. By giving you free stuff. Let's stuff your stocking starting on Monday as we drop the puck on the 10 Days of Canesmas. We'll have the magic red hat. We'll pick out different prizes for you. I've seen some of them. I have used some of them, and meaning, like, you know, got to try them out before we send them out, make sure they work. And they're pretty darn cool. So you're just going to trust me on that and know you should be excited for the 10 Days of Canesmas coming up on Monday. Now, here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, every Thursday about this time, we play a game of Cons and Cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
Confidence and concerns. We have confidence and we have concerns. The way this works, we will take a few different teams, in this case, the 3 ACC basketball teams from the state of North Carolina, and put them through the test. What are you most confident about? What are you most concerned about when it comes to each of these individual teams? And Dennis.
Okay.
Which team are we starting with?
Well, let's go to the team that played last night. Let's go NC State.
NC State. As always, I have good news and bad news. Which do you want first? You always take the bad news. Dennis, lead us off. What are you most concerned about when it comes to the North Carolina State Wolfpack men's basketball team?
My concern overall is going to be, as the season progresses, is their size down low. I know Van Allen Lubin has had a lot of double-doubles so far this season, but to me, the lack of length and size down low on the block, I think is going to be difficult when they have to play a team like Duke or Carolina. It's going to make things difficult because against Carolina, they're not going to be able to match up down low. I think on the perimeter, I'll give the advantage to NC State. Duke can match them up on both the perimeter and down low. But I think as the season goes along, the lack of true post presence or length down in the post, I think is going to be a bit of a problem for NC State going forward.
So mine is pretty much the same. I did say size, and particularly size on defense. Right now, NC State has no one playing more than 14 minutes who's taller than 6'9". There are teams where you're going to need taller than 6'9" for more than 14 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that's contributing to their defensive woes over the last 2 games specifically, but at times throughout the year thus far. Either that or you have to make your opponent pay more aggressively. You got to go full like small ball, catch and run, drive and kick and drive and crawl. Like you have to get – you either play bigger guys that can defend the rim and bang down low, or you need to make it so other teams can't play those guys against you, and they really haven't figured out the balance there yet. So, yeah, concern in size. It's hilarious, if I'm being real. Not hilarious because they have a part that they're struggling with. Hilarious because this is exactly what we said about UNC last year.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the talent on the perimeter. They've got some guys that can really fill it up. Oh, they've got good, but their big men like to drift to the perimeter a little too much, and they don't really have any true post presences or rim protectors. And it's like we just had it all last year for Carolina. And in some way, Van Allen Lubin's right there in the middle of it both times.
That's a funny point. That's true.
I think he would be a really, really good second tallest guy on the floor for a team in the ACC. But for whatever reason, his teams continue to look at him as the tallest guy on the floor. Or pair him with a 6'10", 6'11" that wants to be outside shooting threes all day. Like, I don't know. It's funny that history is repeating itself just on the exact opposite side of a rivalry. Confidence. What are you confident in when it comes to the NC State Wolfpack?
I love their ability to score in transition because of their lack of size and just the fact that they can put out a bunch of guys that are 6'5", 6'6", that are perimeter guys on the wing, and even with Trey Holloman, I think he's at 6'4". They can push the ball. And Darian Williams as well. Those guys can push the ball up the floor, and they're not afraid to shoot in transition as well. When they get out and start running, I actually really like when they can play at a tempo like that. That's to me, that's what I've seen so far. I'm not saying they're perfect at it, but to me, I like that style of play from them because, again, I think their roster is built for it in that regard. But they're not afraid to get up and down the floor and run, and I think that's a good thing.
About 10 minutes away from first goal score predictions, by the way, so get ready for that. Canes, who's going to score the first goal tonight and in what period? Just a quick reminder. Confidence for State. For me, it's still early. That's my confidence. In the last 2 games, I've learned, watching them, that Kadir Copeland has way more scoring pop than I thought he did.
Oh, yeah. Like last night, I thought he was great.
I knew he's a veteran presence. I knew he's like an attitude, culture leader. I knew he's wingspan and on defense. I didn't know he had scoring pop like this. So it's so early. What else are we going to not know about this team? What else are we going to learn about this team? What else is there hidden in their bag of tricks? And there might be something cool because it's still so young. What team do we go to next, Duke or UNC?
Let's go to Carolina.
UNC Tar Heels. Concerns. Dennis, what do you got?
Backcourt. To me, I think the thing I've noticed from Carolina basketball this season is that they don't have a point guard in my eyes, at least, or multiple guys that are in the backcourt that can control the pace of play. Because last year you could have had Cadeau or RJ Davis. So either one of those guys could help control the pace of play in some way, shape, or form. I don't see the consistent ball handlers in the backcourt that can distribute the offense. You can have a primary focal point in a Caleb Wilson. I think Vasar is awesome down low. I love their front court. But in terms of who can actually manage the floor for them, it's still a question mark. I think Dixon eventually can maybe become that, but he's still a freshman learning how to play at this level. So to me, it's just that's a concern right now. It's that who can control the floor offensively for them.
All right, I'm going to give my concern and confidence back to back because you just gave a lot of it. I have my concern backcourt, my confidence front court.
That's fair.
If you asked me to name the 3 best, most impressive, most dependable players for the Carolina Tar Heels thus far, I would say Caleb Wilson, Henry Vasar, Jaren Stevenson. Front court, front court, front court. if you told me the things about this season that most concern me, I would start with, the Seth Trimble injury. Then I would go to Kyan Evans at point. Then I would go to Bogovac. Hasn't been as electric as some made us believe he would be. Obviously, we knew so little of him coming from Europe in the preseason. Now, Derek Dixon is nice, but that's brand new, right? Who knows what to make of that? So, really, if I'm looking at UNC, their front court, talent-wise, could be one of the best in the country. Their backcourt, though, I'm not sure I'm nearly as confident at this moment. A lot of potential there, and obviously Seth Trimble will be returning. But I think it's kind of that simple. Like, it's I trust the big guys. I don't trust the perimeter guys as much.
My confidence for UNC basketball right now, which has been a staple of UNC basketball for a long, long time, it's the offensive rebounding. Especially like the front court guys that you mentioned. Their offensive rebounding, they're able to put the ball back. That's a staple of UNC basketball. So, Hubert Davis has preached it, but it's been a long-standing thing with UNC basketball. Hey, you're missing shots, crashing the boards, the big men down low, offensive rebounds, and getting the putbacks. It's one of the staples of UNC basketball. And you know what? They have the dudes that can do that this year.
I agree. And in their last game, they dominated the offensive boards.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was a huge – it's just – it's not as commonly said, but it's in the same lane as football coaches or announcers saying you got to win the turnover battle. Like, it just makes sense to get more possessions. Offensive rebounds are just extra chances to score that you don't bank on, right? You think, get a stop, get a steal, right? Force a turnover. We got an extra possession. But grabbing an offensive rebound is the exact same thing, right? You just you get it closer to the bucket usually, so it's a higher leverage possession. It's stealing legally. And then finally, since we've gone through the next two, we have Duke. What is your concern for the Duke Blue Devils, who are sitting undefeated at the moment?
Consistent outside shooting. That's my big concern. Is that we know that Isaiah Evans can be a flamethrower when he gets hot. But outside of him, who's the guy that we know right now that can get hot shooting from the outside if Isaiah Evans isn't the guy doing it? Because last year, Cooper Flagg could shoot from the outside. Con Knipple could shoot from the outside. Isaiah Evans, Tyrese Proctor. All these guys could shoot from the outside. Sion James could. Especially in the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament, Tyrese Proctor was unreal. I don't know outside of Isaiah Evans a guy that can get hot. But again, can they be a consistent 40% three-point shooting team?
Sarr probably has to be that at some point.
Maybe. I don't know if that fits his game.
Hasn't had the production yet. Mine is similar. My concern for Duke is, even outside of perimeter shooting, who is the next consistent scorer? Because Gungba right now is the second leading scorer on the team, nearly tied with Evans. They're right there at 12.5, 12.6 each. I don't know. His game is dependent. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think he's playing really good basketball. But he's catching lobs, right? He's offensive rebounds and putbacks. Who's the second creator? And if it's Evans, is he ready to do it every single night? Is he ready to do it, be consistent, even when the three isn't working, finding ways to score? Because it can't just be Cam Boozer. Maybe it's Caden Boozer off the bench. Maybe it's Sarr, as we mentioned. Maybe it's Jimenez if he's healthy. Who knows? But I think they need a second leading scorer that's more consistent and established. What's your confidence for Duke?
My confidence for them is the fact that they have the ability, I think, on defense to keep any team close. They may not be hitting on all cylinders offensively, but they're going to keep teams in check if they need to. I think the Florida game actually was an example of that. That was kind of a grinding win. Again, it was just 67-66. That's a grinding style win, but to me, it's their defense that I think, and it's more than just Malik Brown. Malik Brown is a tremendous defender. I think he's actually underrated as an offensive player as well in terms of his ability to pass the ball and his vision. Malik Brown is. I know Gungba got a ton of praise in the game the other night against Florida, but I was like, Malik Brown's been doing this for a couple years for them. But in my eyes, defensively, I think they can keep teams in check because they have the versatility on defense to match up against anybody.
Yeah, I had a few in the running for my confidence, and then I went, what are you doing? Just go with the obvious. It's Cam Boozer.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's leading the ACC in scoring right now by more than 2 points per game. He's
good.
Fourth in rebounding at 9.3. He's also 15th in the conference, and by the way, that leads Duke. He's also 15th in the conference and leading Duke in assists at 3.7. He's also 14th in the conference and leading Duke in steals at 1.7. He's also had big games in their biggest games.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. He's tall. He's strong. He's a boozer.
He's a boozer.
I mean, he's gotta get it.
That's his name, yes.
If you have a name like Boozer, there's just the jokes. They're going to be there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is Cons and Cons. As always, if you have concerns or confidences about teams that we've discussed today and you want us to hear them, you can jump in our YouTube live stream comments, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, go in the live stream, comment there. You can send them to me on Twitter at Donnelly Sports. Whatever it ends up happening, we will we'll do our best to respond, or I'll guarantee you we'll read them. With that being said, in those very same places, you could send us first goal scorer predictions. Who is scoring the first goal of the game for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight against Toronto? And in what period will they score it? Those are the two pieces of information that we need. You can add in as many details as you want for extra bragging rights. It's on the power play. It's 5-hole. It's on a rush. It's a deflection. Whatever details you want to give us. But the thing we need is who's going to score the first goal for the Canes and in what period. 3 of you will get to make your predictions on air. Heister Automotive Group hotline open now, 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. Call in now. I'll give you the number one more time, and I'll say it a little slower. With your prediction, Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. I still have to collect some from the 99.9 The Fan personality, so texts have been sent. But while Dennis aligns those callers, I will let you know what some of the personalities I've chosen. Adam Gold, host of the Adam Gold Show directly before this one, every weekday on 99.9 The Fan, has gone Jordan Stahl, the captain, in the first period on the power play. For those of you saying, what? How? He has been at practice mixing in with the first unit on the power play, taking face-offs, which has been an Achilles heel for the Canes. They have not been good on the face-off on the power play, so maybe he gets some minutes there. Adam Gold picks Stahl in the first on the power play. Victoria, the producer of the Adam Gold Show, Jarvis in the first, but not in the first 10 minutes of the game. That's become one of her go-tos. And then, let's see here. We also have, we have me and Dennis that are going to make our predictions. But first, we go to the call-in line. We have Jonathan in Chapel Hill. Jonathan in Chapel Hill, welcome to the show. Go ahead and give us your first goal score prediction.
Hey, guys. I'm going with Jarvis in the first, short-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Stan Coleman is in the box, retaliating for someone taking liberties with Slavin.
Okay. I like where your head's at. I will, just so everybody doesn't get confused. Slavin's not playing tonight. He's been skating he's been skating in a non-contact sweater, and he's doing some work, which is a step forward. But he's not going to be in the game lineup. But I'll accept the prediction anyway. Maybe they took liberties with Slavin up in the media booth.
Yeah, with the press box. Eh?
Can you get some? That'd be a mighty retaliation if anybody messed with Slavin up in the press box. But Jonathan, we appreciate you for listening, and thank you for calling in. Good luck. Let's go to Isaiah. Thank you. Let's go to Isaiah in Wake Forest up next. Isaiah, welcome to the show. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
I'm going to go with Ehlers in the second period. I'd say even strength, assisted by Stankoven. I don't see him scoring in the first this time. So I'm gonna go second. Maybe I'll be right.
All right. Why the slow start for the Canes?
They've started slow the past few games, except for that. I'm trying to remember which game it was. It was a couple games ago. They scored right off the bat. But besides that, we've been really slow. We'll probably, depending on who's in goal, we'll probably be playing catch up unless Bussy's in goal. Bussy's in goal. It'll probably be close. If Freddie's in goal, we'll be playing catch up. So
there it is. We appreciate it, Isaiah. Thank you for putting up with my follow-up questions, and good luck to you. How far we've come. If Freddie's in net, we'll be playing from behind. If the 27-year-old journeyman minor leaguer is in there, we'll be A-OK. Zach in Wake Forest is up next. Zach, welcome to the show. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
I'm going to be opposite from my other Wake Forest guy. I'm going to go Jackson Blake within the first 5 minutes of the game. I think we start off hot tonight and put it away early.
All right. I hope you're right. That seems like a more fun way to play. Zach, we appreciate you for calling in. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
All right, those are the calls. A little Wake Forest battle right there. One saying starting slow, one saying starting fast. Dennis, we need your prediction. Which side are you on? Start slow or start fast?
I'm probably going to go on the start fast side because I'm going to go to the first period goal by Jalen Chatfield.
Chatty.
Yep.
What brings you to Chatmandu?
Yeah, he's skating on a pair or has been skating on a pair with Shane Gostisbehere, and I think the two of them, as more games played together, are just going to develop a little bit more chemistry. Actually, Jalen Chatfield takes an indirect pass off the boards.
Interesting.
He's going to take an indirect pass off the boards from Andrei Svechnikov. He's going to one-timer.
You can tell he hunts for that occasionally. There are certain games where when a pass is coming his way, he's locked and loaded, and you can just tell he's ready to fire. Mine, I'm going way off the board here. Sebastian Aho in the first. Fresh legs. Got to cut a little longer break since their last game. I talk a lot about how I think Aho feels the room really, really well. So I think he's going to recognize, we got to start fast coming out of a little bit longer break, a couple more days off. I'll be the energy. I'll be the catalyst, and I'll go try to get a goal early. So I have Aho in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Okay.
Something special. I think it's going to be a highlight goal. One we're playing on the end of the year highlight reels.
5-on-5?
5-on-5, correct.
Okay.
Just because I don't see him drawing a penalty in the first 5 minutes, and I don't want to say who's in the box with a shorty, which they might be in the box early. Dennis, do we have anything coming in on the YouTube live stream comments before we move on?
So yeah, we've actually had quite a few. We have a Jarvis late in the first period. We also have ourselves Jordan Stahl in the second on a rebound from Martinook and Chatfield. Couple people actually saying Sean Walker, a sneaky wrister in the first period as well. So we actually have a few Sean Walkers actually in here. She was on Kane's corner.
I was just going to say, we should look into how players go back historically and see how they play in their first game after a Kane's corner.
I got to look and see who had the first goal after when Nikolai Ehlers was on. If it was Ehlers, that'd be awesome. Speaking of Ehlers, someone says Nikolai Ehlers in the first period, even strength goal. Jackson Blake first period. Someone on that line just in general is just due for a goal. Another Jackson Blake in the first period. A lot of people give it love for that Stankoven, Blake, Ehlers line.
I mean, I get it.
It makes sense. They played well.
Angie on Twitter came with Chatmandu in the second. So
she's
all right. Kind of on the same train as you, but a little bit differentiated, which I appreciate.
He's due.
I would love to see a Chatfield goal today. And at home, I feel like the place always goes nuts when Chatty scores. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You can continue to send in those first goal scorer predictions to our YouTube live stream comments or on Twitter at Donnelly Sports if you want to send it straight to me, at The Fan Rookie if you want to send it straight to Dennis, or at 99.9 The Fan if you want to send it straight to the station. We're accepting from all directions. So that's always a fun deal we play. And as always, if you get it right, we will give you your props on air. Big on accountability around here. Before we move on and get to a feedback frenzy, Dennis Cox, what do you have?
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, ask yourselves this. What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR? Right now, Loan Pronto, they got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. You can pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and they saved $2,100 a month. One phone call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low, so act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and again, see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with a feedback frenzy, hearing from many of you online next.
Move your sports day forward.
You know the story of A Christmas Carol, the ghosts of past, present, and yet to come. We can tie it a bit to the Panthers season, the past, innocence by fans, big expectations, new faces, the present, a roller coaster ride of Bryce is our guy, or maybe not. Only the yet to come could be different than the Christmas tale. Unlike Scrooge, we actually care about December games.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
This Christmas, gift deeply. At Bailey's, we know jewelry is more than just something sparkly. Each piece carries meaning, emotion, and love. Discover the largest selection of designer jewelry, diamonds, luxury timepieces, and gifts for everyone special on your list. Give a gift that says everything words cannot. Beautifully wrapped in our iconic Bailey box. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, Greenville, and Charlotte, or at BaileyBox.com, because every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
We know you're hot to see a Carolina Hurricanes game in person. Visit 999thefan.com or fire up the Fan app and enter to win a pair of tickets and parking for the Canes Columbus game on December 9th. Check out our Hurricanes hot ticket giveaway at 999thefan.com.
Across Ehlers back, they score on the power play. A beautiful pass, Nikolai Ehlers, and Andrei Svechnikov buries it.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I did hear back from our other 99.9 Fan personalities, on-air personalities for the first goal scorer predictions. So I'll just break them down for you real quick. Paul Ihander, just so we have a record, right? They were made before the game. No changes, nothing shady. Paul Ihander went Blake in the first on the rush. Max Gorin, Martinuk in the first. And then again, Adam went Stahl in the first on the power play. Victoria Jarvis in the first, not in the first 10 minutes. I went with Aho in the first 5 minutes, and Dennis Chatfield in the first. So those are all on the record, locked in, ready to roll. Now we get to a feedback frenzy. There it is where Dennis goes on the internet. Dangerous place. He finds the comments reacting to our conversations over the last however long, brings those comments on air, and we react in real time. Dennis, what do you got?
This actually comes from one of our YouTube live listeners, leaving a comment back when we were doing Cons and Cons just a little bit ago about ACC basketball. This one comes from D. Ely. D. Ely says, I'm confident that at least one fan base locally will want their coach fired by the end of January.
We're talking college basketball?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it was a funny comment.
No, I get it.
It's funny.
I get it, but in years past, I may have even agreed with it wholeheartedly. But Will Wade is so new, I don't see that happening. And the other two, I think, have really good teams. So we'll see. Again, the wheels could fall off. I could be wrong, but we'll see.
All right, yesterday we had a conversation about Duke basketball and UNC basketball both getting top wins. And this actually comes from Nothing Man. Actually posted this today. The Nothing Man said both UNC, Duke, and UVA play 3 quality teams in the ACC SEC Challenge. Duke wins by 1, UNC wins by 3, while UVA basically wins by 20 on the road. Same school that won the football regular season.
Oh, so we're just hyping up Virginia basketball?
Well, I guess what Nothing Man is trying to say is that we talk about can you win at both football and in basketball.
Okay.
Maybe UVA is showing that potentially that's possible. I mean, Duke also might have an ACC championship in football by the end of the night on Saturday night.
Okay, we should point out they played Texas.
Who's a good team?
Duke also beat Texas.
Yeah. Beat NC State.
Unranked Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They also lost to Butler. They also had a close game against Northwestern. Listen, I'm a fan of UVA. I really like Ryan Odom. I think that's a good program basketball-wise. If you think Virginia wins the ACC in a year when the ACC is not in absolute, I don't know, crumbling? I don't even know what to call it. I would be surprised by that. And thirdly, I forget what number I'm on, and point F. UVA did lose twice to ACC teams in football. One of them didn't count for whatever reason. They lost to NC State. And I don't know if they would have won the tiebreaker if they got into the tiebreaker with everybody else. So, listen, I think UVA is a very good program. There's a reason why they're always thrown in like a conference realignment talk. It's always like, well, they want Clemson, Florida State, UNC, and probably UVA too, right? There's a reason why they're always like that included group. It's academics, it's money, it's strength of program, stability. I'm not hating on Virginia at all, but I'm not putting them in football or basketball at the moment in the top tier of the ACC as far as program. This year they've been good in football and they'll be decent at basketball, but I'm not necessarily smelling what you're stepping in. Was that Nothing Man?
Nothing Man.
Mr. Nothing Man.
All right. Yesterday, we had a conversation about the college football playoff. ACC might not have someone in the CFP. This one comes from Adam the Sports Guy. Adam the Sports Guy says this: 27-24, Miami over Notre Dame. Everything else is relatively equal with Notre Dame up a little or Miami up a little. They played. Miami won. If we put Notre Dame in, miss me with how important the first month of college football is next August. Also, there would be no change to the college football playoff because you must have all the Power 4 conference commissioners to agree to any change. Watch the ACC say, we'll all just lose money. Nothing is changing. The ACC votes no to anything that doesn't benefit the ACC. Then we're stuck with this system. Also, Notre Dame can try to win a national title this year. It'll suck when they lose in the playoffs, and we'll still have to pay the price.
All right, a few things. One, you can't speak in absolutes like that because it sets yourself up for president to bite you in the tail. For example, 27-24, stop there. It's head-to-head. All right, then put Louisville in over Miami. Like, you need to look at the rest of the resume as well. And I'm on the Miami side, but when you speak in absolutes, it's like, no, you're setting us up to get our legs chopped out from under us. Second of all, if you think the 4 power conference commissioners have the same amount of power, that's not how it works. Not even a little bit. Second of all, in all of those conference power broker conversations, you're forgetting about someone that's always included. The athletic director of Notre Dame is always in the room. So there's an imbalance of power. Last point I'll make is this. Head-to-head has to matter. The rest has to matter too. Okay? If Notre Dame and Miami are back-to-back against each other, I believe Miami should be over them. But you'd be willfully ignorant if you refuse to acknowledge there is some logic to both of Notre Dame's losses came to teams that are very good, and both of Miami's losses have come to teams that are good, but maybe not as good. Right? I think Louisville and SMU are good teams. Do not get me wrong. They're good teams. Texas A&M and Miami are better. So there's some logic there. I get it. I just tend to be on your side of the argument. But you can't speak in absolutes like that because it just sets yourself up to be bitten.
All right, this one comes from, we had a conversation yesterday about Bryce Young. How long do the Carolina Panthers need in terms of making a decision about the future of Bryce Young? 5th-year option, contract extension, all those things are all possible out there. This one comes from Word Up.
Word Up.
Word Up says, grabbing the 5th-year option isn't a killer, but they need to bring in legit quarterback competition before extending any quarterback currently in the bottom 10 of the NFL for the full season.
Do you know what's hard about that? I agree in many ways from a roster building standpoint, you like it. But how good is the quarterback you're bringing in for competition? Because that's a price.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're paying somebody $26.5 million to play and you have to pay $15 million, right? With Daniel Jones, I think was $14 million, right? So if you're getting one of the top end backups in the league, 10, 15, 16 something million dollars, now all of a sudden you're paying your quarterback room $40+ million, and that's defeating the purpose of not paying your quarterback $40-something million, right? The rest of your roster is still going to be as talented as it could be while putting big money into the quarterback room. So the logic would be you pay your quarterback $26.5, use the franchise tag, or you negotiate some kind of longer-term deal, whatever, where you're not paying them as much, and that allows you to spend on the rest of the roster. If you take the money you save, quote-unquote save, against the average quarterbacks in the league and give that to the backup quarterback, you're no better off. You're spending the same amount of money in your quarterback room. So I understand competition, but who is the competition is huge. Are you bringing in Mac Jones? Because I think Mac Jones could be $20 million a year because he's played well enough to look like a starter. Or are you bringing in Joe Flacco? Because you can get him for $4, but then he's 40-something years old and he's Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Those are the options. Not those two only, but that's the range.
All right, also on the same along those same lines, Keith Parker says, while Bryce Young has improved a bit this season, he has been too streaky. He follows a good game with the bad game. That's not going to cut it when you want the Panthers to be a perennial playoff team. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, they all played with an occasional rare bad game at a high level week in and week out. Young must show huge improvement next season. Otherwise, the Panthers will be in the market for a QB in 2027.
If your judge of a quarterback is, are they Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, who else was it? Drew Brees? Was that the
Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, Rivers.
If that's your cutoff, you'll be waiting those guys don't come around often.
No, they don't.
You're going to have to keep drafting until you get one. Bryce is not those guys. I can say that confidently. He's not one of those four or on the level of those four. If you only want to pay a quarterback who's that good, you're going to have to try again. And that's no disrespect to Bryce Young, right? 99.99999% of quarterbacks that have picked up a football are nowhere near those guys that you mentioned. So maybe lower the bar. Because you can win a Super Bowl with, let me think. You can win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, right? You can win a Super Bowl with a lot of Jalen Hurts. You can win a Super Bowl with quarterbacks that are not Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Ben Ross, whatever the list was.
All right, there it is.
There you go. That is a little feedback frenzy. We do that occasionally, so continue commenting. Go to our YouTube, subscribe, jump in the videos. Check out your YouTube recaps now. Maybe it'll say you've been watching a ton of our stuff, and then that'll make us feel good. But jump in the comments, leave comments, and then you might just hear your insight brought on air. And then I'll respond like I just did. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. You know what I always think is crazy? This time of year, you start seeing the commercials where you see what I would consider psycho maneuvers of surprising your significant other with a car in the driveway. And it's like, hey, I made a massive financial decision and surprised you with it. Don't worry, right? I signed up for the loan or whatever you did. I spent the $50,000. In actuality, that's not how any of us spend massive investments, right? You sit down, you talk about it, you have questions. Miller Lending, Gordon Miller, they encourage that. So when I sit here and I talk to you so often about the no closing cost loan, the no cost loan, no costs, no fees, no cost at closing, all of this money that stays in your pocket, I don't expect you to go, deal. Tim said it, let's roll. What I expect you to say is, that sounds interesting. That allows us to take advantage of a volatile market. So if rates drop, we can refinance again with no closing cost, get a lower monthly payment. Let me talk to the other people in my family. Let me talk to the other people that I trust about this situation, and then let me call Miller Lending and get more information. Let me call them and find out how this works, why it works, and why it's best for me. Don't surprise people. Hey, I changed our mortgage. Huh? Biggest financial investment. Made a huge change. No. Hey, I called Miller Lending. They had some interesting thoughts. We're going to stop out there in Cary and talk to them next week. Something like that. Give them a call. Ask for more information. 919-447-3377. No closing cost loan. Start there. 919-447-3377 or visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2502146. We'll take a break. We have the starting five coming up next, including a North Carolina native legend not being treated like one. Next.
We're in a different kind of sports season on 99.9 The Fan, the giving season. So, once again, we're back with our station tradition, the 10 Days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's and Surfside Vodka. Starting December 8th, we celebrate our connection to our hometown hockey team by giving you stuff. Let's stuff your stocking this Monday as we drop the puck on the 10 Days of Canesmas. Ho, ho, ho!
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately. Nope, sticking to our go-to places. You mean like Sharky's? Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3. You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection. And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it. Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other? Oh, it's perfect, all right.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I.
Sir, this is Monopoly money.
And there's more where that came from.
I'm calling the cops.
Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Start playing for real money. New Monopoly scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have real cash wins of up to $1 million. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.83 to 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey folks, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've been with the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center for 4 months, and I've lost 42 pounds. But most importantly, I've maintained that weight that I've lost as well. And you can actually get started on that program even before the new year. When everyone sets those new weight loss goals, go ahead and get started on it right now because the Raleigh Weight Loss Center is extending their huge 20% off Lose It holiday sale all the way through December 19th with the lowest prices of the year on the amazing program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. They know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. Schedule your free 15-minute phone consultation today to see if the Raleigh Weight Loss Center program is the right thing for you. Mention the promo code LOSEIT for a discount. 919-897-7506 or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. 919-897-7506. Mention the promo code Lose It. Results may vary.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Overnight, we'll see some cold rain move in from Raleigh, points south, north of Raleigh, and mainly north of I-85. We could see it begin as a wintry mix of some snow and sleet. Eventually, that'll even change over to cold rain. The high just 37 degrees, so make sure to bundle up Friday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones today down 32 points to 47,850.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Starting on Monday, we're going to be in a different kind of sports season on 99.9 The Fan. The giving season. Hopefully it's not like the giveaway season. The giving season is a little different, right? We're not asking for turnovers here. Takeaways, what we're asking for in the sports side of things. But in the holiday side of things, we're looking for the giving season. Better to give than to receive. So once again, we are back with our station tradition, the 10 Days of Canesmas. Presented by Hardee's and Surfside Vodka. Starting December 8th, that's Monday, we will be celebrating our connection to our hometown hockey team by giving you stuff. We're going to stuff your stocking this Monday as we drop the puck with the 10 Days of Canesmas. And yeah, I'll read whatever you script for me. So the script says, ho, 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 ho. I don't know, there's an extra. So got to say what's on the page.
Sometimes that's the case.
Ho, ho, ho. I'm not a good. My voice isn't good there. I'll work on it. Either way,
I thought you were going to say something else, but I'm glad.
I had to stop that one. I'm not even going to try to explain it. Let's just jump straight into the starting five because it is just after 5 o'clock. As always, we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Chris Paul, CP3. North Carolina legend, right? Grew up around here, played for Wake Forest. He was cut by the Clippers 2 nights ago in the middle of the night. Just, you think you've had a bad travel day. The reports are out there that the Clippers had a bad travel situation, sat on the tarmac, got into Atlanta late. Chris Paul was met by a front office executive that said, "You're cut." Now, who knows where the truth lies in there, but that's brutal sounding. He put on social media in the middle of the night like, "Hey, just found out they're sending me home." Now, Chris Paul's going to be fine, right? I think he's made the 6th most money in NBA history. His legend is secured, right? He's one of the inner circle best point guards of all time. This is such a bad look for the Clippers. You should treat legends of the game with a certain amount of respect and honor, right? If you're going to cut him after a home game or before a home game, right? When he can go back to his house rather than going back to a plane. Even if it's a private jet, it's still a sad flight. Next, the reports almost immediately came out. Shams Charania, a bunch of other insiders. As a matter of fact, I have one of them right here for you. Got to scroll back. There's a lot going on in the last couple of days here. If I don't find it in 2 seconds, I'll just paraphrase. All right, we're paraphrasing. Basically said they didn't like the way he called out coaches, front office, and players when he didn't think they were doing what they should be doing. Which I get, right? Coach, front office executive, players just play. Except for Chris Paul is kind of have you ever watched like Bar Rescue or anything like that? Where you send in the expert and he whips up a business that isn't doing well into shape and leaves them profitable? That's kind of Chris Paul. He went to the Hornets, Pelicans, whatever you want to call them, as a rookie. Pretty much turned them around immediately. Goes to the Clippers, one of the most moribund franchises in history. Turns them into Lob City. He goes to OKC, turns them around. He goes to the Suns, gets them to the finals. Right? The guy just goes around and basically takes franchises that need to be yelled at and probably yells at them. I'm not saying it's enjoyable, but sometimes you need some tough love. Now, the Clippers are saying he's doing that to them. Yeah, you can go home with that. Keep in mind, the Clippers are awful. I just think it's a really, really bad look for the Clippers. Not to mention, they got some off-the-court stuff going on. They're all about saving trees and putting extra money into Kawhi Leonard's pocket.
Maybe that's why they got to let him go.
Yeah, they got to afford more tree businesses.
Maybe.
I don't know. The sports world gets crazy sometimes. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Signing day for college football was yesterday. Schools bringing in their next generation of guys that'll hit the portal in 8 months. Actually, I thought Fran Brown, the coach at Syracuse, said it well. He was talking about the transfer portal. He's like, all the transfer portal is swapping twos. Everybody's second stringers are unhappy. So our second stringers leave, and we have to go find other team second stringers that were unhappy and hit the portal. Everyone's just swapping twos. So he signed a big high school class saying like he's trying to get out of that carousel and develop guys from within. I do think the swapping twos thing is real, right? Because
to an extent, yeah.
The people that are good enough to play a little, so they have tape, but are not good enough to play as much as they want, are the ones that hit the portal. Everybody just, you take your second stringer, I'll take my second stringer, unless you're going like levels. You're going, group of 5 to power conference or FCS up to FBS, because then it's, starters will leave.
Like Darian Mensah.
Like Darian Mensah, exactly.
We've seen guys like Casey Concepcion transfer out, and he was a starter at NC State for 2 years.
Some might say there were levels to that.
Yeah, there's that too.
Levels of cash, at least.
Well, there's also that.
But the other thing that's happening is these coaching decisions have to be made hastily on who's being fired, who's not. If someone takes a job, you have to replace very quickly. Billy Napier, head coach of Florida. Dennis, you have the report there.
Yes.
Is this a being linked to, or is this like a he's going to?
On3 is actually reporting that Billy Napier and this, Matt Zenitz from CBS Sports reporting it, Pete Nakos from On3, that former head coach Billy Napier, former Florida head coach, has now accepted the head coaching job at James Madison. Sources tell CBS. This is literally as of 2 minutes ago.
That's a lot of movement. I think you learn very quickly when a job opens up which teams are sleeping giants. And it's by which coaching aisle they're shopping in. If JMU, I don't know if people know this, they got cash. For a group of 5 team, they're bloated with money. Billy Napier probably isn't cheap, right? He was the head coach of Florida. He could go be a coordinator somewhere, make good money. That's probably some cash. That's probably some money. JMU's not playing around. Meanwhile, if a group of 5 team loses their head coach and they immediately go to let's find an FCS head coach, or let's find a coordinator that's doing some things in the MAC, then it's okay, you're shopping in a different, you got a little different budget there, and that's true. We talked about the KC Concepcion thing. If you want your team to be good, you better start finding more money, right? Dave Doran got the vote of confidence. He's coming back for NC State. If you want him to reach levels he hasn't reached in the first 13 years as head coach of NC State, better give him some more resources. Right? What was the story about Bill Belichick when he got to UNC? Not only was he showing up, but he was bringing a bigger budget to the table. They had a good recruiting day yesterday and signing day. Money. And actually, speaking of Duke, right? Speaking of Darian Mensah, which you just brought up. Duke's playing for the ACC championship. Guess what was the story of their offseason last year? CBS Sports reported they spent $4+ million per year on Darian Mensah. Well, he led the conference in passing touchdowns. He led the conference in passing yards. And for the first time in a very long time, Duke's playing for an ACC championship on Saturday. We like the narratives, the speeches, right? This team just plays together. Sometimes follow the money. The winning is right there. They're the Hansel and Gretel crumbs leading you to the wins, just dollar bills. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3. I like breaking news. What do we got? I don't even know what this is.
So let's push our number 3 topic actually to number 2 here, Tim. But we actually have our ACC Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Coach of the Year in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Yesterday we had all ACC teams were announced.
Talking football, by the way. I know
football.
I teased it anyway. Keep going.
Our ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year, Luke Farrelly from Cal, the linebacker.
Solid player. They had some good freshmen over there. If Cal backs up the Brink truck and they can keep Farrelly, they can keep Sagu Politelli, the quarterback, they might have something going there.
Led all freshmen in tackles this season with 87 in the ACC. Your ACC Offensive Rookie of the Year and just Rookie of the Year as a whole, Malachi Toney, the wide receiver from Miami.
Very talented
who was
player.
first team All-ACC as well.
And second team All-ACC.
As the all-purpose.
He was first team as a wide receiver, second team as all-purpose, and he's Rookie of the Year. That's a nice haul of postseason awards. Listen, I'm not a Miami fan or anything. Malachi Toney is legit. He's good.
Your ACC Defensive Player of the Year from Miami, Ruben Bain Jr., defensive end.
He is like it may have been a Mike Trout MVP the first time, or who's the pitcher? DeGrom. When DeGrom won the Cy Young, and he was like 500 in wins and losses, I went, okay, we're all in on analytics, right? Because it used to be if you were going to win the Cy Young, you had to have like a strikeout title, an ERA title, which he probably did. But you had to have, the main deals. You had to win a bunch of games, 20-game winner. When DeGrom won, it was like, okay, we're all in on, war and things. Ruben Bain, Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's like 19th in sacks in the league as an edge rusher. But, pressure rates and get off and time to quarterback hit, he's like a big analytics guy. Plays impacted, chaos rate. So it's not undeserving, but it is a mark of how differently we judge edge rushers now than we did even 5-10 years ago.
According to PFF, he had the highest graded defensive edge in all of FBS this entire season at 92.9 overall.
Just imagine how many really good edge rushers 30 years ago went through their career thinking they were a role player because they just didn't get home for sacks that much. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the advanced analytics might have said they're the most effective edge rusher in the country, but you're 15th in sacks in the ACC, so nobody cares.
He was 5th nationally in quarterback pressures.
See?
Only one of 10 players in the entire country credited with 50 or more.
And I actually think some of that is he was so obviously good that quarterbacks were always aware of him. Like coaches were calling quick-hitting plays. Quarterbacks were always sliding the line to him. Just made his job more difficult, so maybe didn't get home as much even though he was winning his matchups.
Your ACC Offensive Player of the Year, also your ACC Player of the Year, Haynes King, Georgia Tech. Second on the list for Offensive Player of the Year, Darian Mensah, Duke.
I would like to see when those votes were cast.
As would I.
Hey, listen, Haynes King's really good. I don't want to knock Haynes King because we've been a big fan of him on this show, just as observers when he's playing the teams that we cover most aggressively. But there was definitely a narrative set about Haynes King through the first 8 games of the year that didn't necessarily follow through in the last month. Not saying anything was wrong with it. Maybe he's beat up. Maybe whatever happened. But I probably would have Mensah probably would have been my pick there.
And your ACC Coach of the Year, Tony Elliott, Virginia. Second place, Jake Dicker. 57 votes for Tony Elliott, 13 for Jake Dicker.
Makes sense. I mean, they won the regular season and nobody was talking about Virginia preseason. Sometimes I do think that's unfair. You can't win those awards unless everybody disrespects you in the preseason. Mm-hmm. But when it works out that somebody disrespected in the preseason also wins the league, it's kind of obvious, right? It's kind of like, that guy's going to be there. And in many other years, I think Dickert would have had a good enough resume to win an ACC Coach of the Year award because nobody was talking about Wake Forest either, and they won a whole bunch of games and comfortably bowl eligible and created some wins that I thought were very much manufactured wins. Hey, we know we're overmatched here. We're gonna have to coach our way through this one, and they found a way to win some games. So I'm impressed by both of those.
So again, Tony Elliott, UVA, your Coach of the Year in the ACC. Haynes King, quarterback, Georgia Tech, your Offensive Player of the Year, and Ruben Bain Jr., your Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC.
Not a huge haul for the old triangle there, huh?
No, not really. I mean, Hollywood Smothers got votes for Player of the Year offensively.
That's another one. He had a similar trajectory to Haynes King, where through like 8 games it was like, goodness gracious, this guy is unreal.
For real.
And then for whatever reason, things tailed off. For Hollywood Smothers, missed some time. Obviously, the offensive line was not helping him out a ton. But I'm a big Hollywood Smothers fan. Next year, Offensive Player of the Year, Hollywood Smothers, if he returns, I think that might be a popular preseason pick.
It's a real thing.
If he's not in the NFL or somewhere else, which you have to say. You just got to qualify that now in college football. That was number 3, right? Let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us. Top Stolen McNeil, 15th Auburn turnover. McNeil to the right, finds Copeland down the lane, rises up and tomahawk jam. And it's 46-40, 2.5 minutes since halftime, packed down 6.
NC State, as part of the ACC-SEC Challenge, which, by the way, the ACC fumbled away on day number 2, going 1-6 on day number 2. NC State was one of the 6 losses. They lost to Auburn, not Arkansas, as I called them earlier. I watched the whole game. Apparently, any group from the SEC that starts with A is interchangeable. Alabama. Auburn, 83-73, got the win over State. Auburn was ranked. State was not, although they had been ranked as high as 23rd this year. After seeing Texas put up 100-plus on them at the end of the Maui Invitational, and now watching Auburn have the offensive game that they had against NC State, particularly, and I'm not saying it's incorrect, but it always stings a little bit more when the broadcast starts pointing out things that feel obvious but definitely need to be said. Who was it? It was, let me get their names right. It was Keyshawn Hall and Kevin Overton for Auburn. They had 28 and 29 points. That's a ton. I think they said it was since 2007 that Auburn had 2 players score 25 points or more in a game. And at one point, the broadcast went, Hall and Overton, they're lighting it up. They have 20 blah, blah, blah points apiece. And that makes me wonder why they keep having such free catches of the basketball and why they're being given so much space. And I'm like, yeah, that's frustrating. State might have a defensive issue here if 2 players are on their way to darn near 30 burgers. Nobody else has scored more than, at the time, it was like 4 points. I think they had a couple others score 6 and 7. Like, there was no one else really filling it up. They were both shooting efficiently. It's not like they were taking 30 shots to get to 30 points. They both didn't even attempt 15 shots, and the broadcast is going, why is it so easy for him? And I'm going like, yeah, deny the ball, right? At a certain point, you just have to look and say, all right, those 2 guys aren't going to beat us anymore. Somebody else is going to have to hit shots. And they never really made them, right? I mean, 29 and 28, and they scored 83 points total. Those 2 guys did a lot of the work. State, at this point in the season, and it is early, but they're 5-3, right? They're creeping towards 500, which is not where you want to be after starting 4-0. There's a defensive issue here. Like, Texas and Auburn are good teams, but they're not, Loyola Marymount with Hank Gathers, right? They're not getting up and down and scoring 130 on everybody. These are teams that you should be able to make work a bit more for their offense. And then this is becoming something as well. I don't know how good NC State can be if Darian Williams isn't scoring 17 a night. Right? He's 10 and 11 in his last 2 games, which for most players, it's like, yeah, you're in double figures. That's a good day. But and again, he's not taking 20 shots to get there, right? I think he needs to be more aggressive in finding his quote-unquote easier shots, getting out in transition, right? He had 11 points, 4 of 11 shooting, but 1 of 5 from 3. Only got to the free throw line once. He's too good offensively, and NC State needs him to be too good offensively. I'm not asking for 25 a game, but I don't know if they can beat a ranked opponent with Williams getting 11. I think he needs to be closer to 20, 17, 18. Free throws, easy ones. Kadir Copeland had a good day. 22 points, only took 12 shots. As I was watching the game, I was going, I didn't know he had that. You heard the tomahawk jam right there coming out of the transition. We'll see what he turns into this year for State. That's number 2. How about number 1?
The one! Ehlers gets it across, and he scores! In overtime, Nikolai Ehlers with the game winner from Taylor Hall. What a setup, and the extra point goes to Carolina.
The Carolina Hurricanes tonight at 7 take on Toronto at home. I do have a couple pieces of roster news for you.
Okay.
This Walt Ruff, team reporter, tweeted it out, but these are all per Rod Brindamore, so you can trust it. Freddie Anderson will start in net for the Canes. That's as expected against the Maple Leafs. Dominic Fensori is being recalled from the Chicago AHL squad because Keandre Miller is feeling under the weather.
Yes, he's questionable tonight.
It is that time of year, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I know they have Mike Riley available as well in case, but it's probably just, hey, have Fensori up in case someone, tweaks something in warm-ups. You just need another body there.
Who was it Nystrom who, when Keandre Miller warmed up and couldn't go on the road trip, showed up like 20 minutes before the game and was put right into the lineup?
Yeah, literally didn't skate warm-ups. So it's got dressed, went full beer league. All right, put your skates on, walk out there, game time.
Touched his toes, swung his arms 3 times, and was like, let's play hockey.
What's your name?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, blue shirt, you're with me. Right? That's always how it is at pickup basketball. Hey, red shoes, you're rolling with me. It is that. It's just that time of year, and obviously some things are going through the locker room. We saw some other guys miss time with some illnesses. I got an email from my son's preschool today that somebody in the class has the flu, so make sure you're washing your hands. It's going around, and locker rooms are they're close knit places. You know what I mean? And that means they're friends. They hang out a lot. And germs get passed around in those small enclosed rooms that they hang out in.
I was in the locker room yesterday after practice, and I'm like, I don't know.
In a locker room, when you hear like a coughing fit, it gets real hushed real quick, and it's like,
go over here.
Okay, you better tell me that you just ate some snacks and something's caught in your throat or something. Like make it up, right? Actually, it was
too much black pepper on there.
Yeah, it was. One of the funnier scenes in Seth Jarvis's episode of Face Off, the Amazon documentary series. He was in the Team Canada locker room during the Four Nations, right next to Sidney Crosby, and had a coughing fit and couldn't stop. And you could just tell, right? Seth Jarvis turned into like the 11-year-old version of him that has Sidney Crosby posters on the wall going like, stop coughing, he's watching, and he just couldn't do it, right? Sometimes you get the coughing fits. But either way, Keandre Miller, questionable. Fensori being recalled. We're going to talk more about this game at about 5:45, so I'm not like breezing over the actual matchup. But this is kind of what we were talking about, right? If Fensori and Nystrom and these other young guys hadn't been forced into duty a few times already, then it'd be like, oh gosh, if they have to go to Mike Riley and Fensori, oh, what would they do? Oh, if so-and-so's sick. But instead it's like, now, Fensori has already skated with most of the blue line at some point or another, right? Riley can step right in, and he already has the shorthand communication with other guys because at one point in time, Slavin was hurt, who still is. Gostisbehere was hurt. Chatfield was hurt. Miller was hurt. And I believe there was some Venn diagram overlap where all 4 of them were hurt at the same time. So, yeah, like Fensori is not as much of a panic move if you have to go there. Would you rather have Miller be healthy enough to play? Absolutely. But you do get some benefits from being so ravaged by injuries earlier in the season, and one of them is you're a bit more comfortable with your backups. And Toronto, they're more than good enough to test your blue line and try to find shots and everything else. So whoever's in there is going to have to be on their game, and that goes for Freddie Anderson as well. And I believe that means Bussy will be there as a reserve goalie because Pyotr Kochetkov, although he skated at practice the other day, I still don't think he's been activated off IR. But don't quote me on that. You can quote me on Freddie getting the start and Fensori being recalled because Keandre Miller is feeling under the weather. And I'm actually quoting Walt Ruff, who's quoting Rod Brindamore on that. It's like quoteception. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need some numbers game contestants. If you want a chance to compete in the numbers game and potentially, if you're good enough, earn yourself a $30 gift card to Alpaca Chicken, legendary flavor, hometown pride, Alpaca Chicken. If you want to compete, call in now, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and win a $30 gift card to Alpaca Chicken. Numbers game coming up next.
Get crazy, Canes fans. It's hockey night in Carolina. It's your Canes and Toronto.
Blake with a shot. He scores! Oh, what a one-man show from Jackson Blake, and he ties it at 1.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Jarvis back for Walker. He scores! Carolina takes the 3-2 lead.
On your official audio home of Hurricanes hockey, 99.9 The Fan.
Right now, the Salvation Army of Wake County desperately needs food pantry donations.
At Salvation Army, our food pantry is almost empty. We used to serve close to 40 families. Now we've cut down to less than 20. And even the stuff that we have for the families are not what we used to give to the families. We've reduced it drastically. Our pantry is almost empty.
If you're able, please donate any canned food, meat, vegetables, fruit, dry ingredients. Donations can be dropped off at 1863 Capitol Boulevard, Raleigh, or donate at wakearmy.org.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, I'm Creighton Blackwell with Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan, and we're here to celebrate this month's Scholar Athlete of the Month. Tonight, we are here at Cleveland High School in Clayton, and we're here to celebrate the next Scholar Athlete of the Month, Cameron Melvin.
Yeah, he's a real hard worker. He does everything asked of him from the coaching staff or teachers. He'll put it all on the line and works really hard and is a great leader by example in that way.
And he's just an all-around leader, so it just shows up in everything that he does.
You could trust him when the game's on the line to end it right there.
He has a killer instinct, and he's always trying to get better and other people better as well.
So you, Cameron, are the latest Scholar Athlete of the Month, presented by Coastal Credit Union and 99 The Fan. What does winning this award mean to you?
A lot. I work hard in the classroom and on the field, so it's a privilege. So yes, man. A lot of people depend on me, and I got to do what I got to do for the team. So yeah, I try to keep their heads up and keep them going. So
congratulations, Cameron.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
This is what breaking news on WRAL sounds like.
Sky 5 captured the moments a high-speed chase ended in a crash.
From the moments that matter.
Let's take a look at those live pictures right now from Sky 5, and you can see
when seconds count.
Authorities say they are very concerned for the safety of the public. And
when your safety is the priority.
It's still an active scene. Take a look behind
and
me.
We begin at 6 with that breaking news. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens.
Watch WRAL News. Breaking news coverage you can count on.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Our contestants for today, Brian in Fayetteville, and is that Antoine and Carrie. They will be battling it out with jersey number trivia. I think it's funny to say. Battling it out, jersey number trivia for an Alpaca gift card. Alpaca Chicken, legendary flavor, hometown pride. As we bring on each of them, each of our contestants, Brian and Antoine, we will ask them the same question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first, and we will go from there. Brian, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, this one's going to be off the wall. You can't predict every question coming your way. We're giving away a gift card to Alpaca Chicken. Alpaca is a pretty cool animal to see at a petting zoo. When you go to a petting zoo, what's the go-to animal? Which one are you most excited about if you're bringing kids or if you're just there checking out the livestock by yourself?
I got to feed the giraffes.
That's a pretty awesome petting zoo. They usually don't let. I didn't know
There's one here in town that has that.
All right, that's pretty awesome. Brian, locked in with the giraffe. Let's go to Antoine and Carrie. Antoine, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Alpaca chicken is the gift card we're giving away. Alpaca, pretty awesome animal to see at a petting zoo. So, inspired by that, the question is, what animal would you be most jacked up to see when you go to a petting zoo?
Probably like a donkey.
That just made me laugh. All right, Antoine, you're locked in. Dennis, giraffe or donkey? I don't know how you're going to choose.
Donkey. You know what? I don't think there is a correct answer on this one.
There might not be.
There might not be.
Sometimes you got to come up with a question. You just got to, we've been doing this for 3 years now. I try not to duplicate too often.
If you get a chance to pet a giraffe, by all means, go for it. Might need a ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, go giraffe.
All right, there you go. Brian in Fayetteville, the giraffe beats the donkey, and Brian gets to go first. Antoine, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just have to stay on hold there for a second. Brian, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL players that are listed at 6'7" or taller. All the kids are saying it right now. NFL players that have early December birthdays, NBA players that are made in Canada, meaning they're born in Canada, they're Canadian, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Let's go early December birthdays.
All right. These are all NFL players born in early December. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
None.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Phillip Rivers, Indianapolis Colts.
17.
Correct. Charlie Batch, Pittsburgh Steelers.
10.
Incorrect. Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings.
33.
Correct. Josh Doxson, Washington Redskins.
Pass.
Alan Faneca, Pittsburgh Steelers.
65.
Incorrect. Charlie Batch, Pittsburgh Steelers.
8.
Incorrect. Josh Doxson, Washington Redskins.
81.
Incorrect. Alan Faneca, Pittsburgh Steelers.
66.
Incorrect. Charlie Batch, Pittsburgh Steelers.
11.
Incorrect. Josh Doxson. You tried hard. It was well played. You just couldn't come up with the answers there. You did get Phillip Rivers. You did get Aaron Jones, so that's 2. Charlie Batch, we were looking for number 16. Josh Doxson, number 18. Alan Faneca, Pittsburgh Steelers, number 56. Or number
we actually had that wrong. He actually did wear 66 with the Steelers, so actually that one was correct.
All right, so you got 3 right, and I believe you got that right on the last time around. So it's not like I kept going back to it, which is good. So you got 3 right. Congratulations, and shout out to Dennis for being a Steelers fan and knowing that. Faneca, Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, there you go. That was Brian in Fayetteville. 3 is the lead in the clubhouse. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. Antoine and Carrie, are you ready to pick a category?
I am ready.
All right, the categories are NFL players that are 6'7" or taller, NBA players that are from Canada, or Hurricanes throughout history.
NBA Canada.
All right. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You need at least 4 for the victory. So keep your pedal to the floor. Any questions before we get started?
No questions.
That was a metaphor, by the way. Pedal to the floor. If you're driving, drive safely. Now, your time will start when you hear the horn. Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets.
13.
Incorrect. Brandon Clark, Memphis Grizzlies.
Brandon Clark, 14.
Incorrect. Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets.
11.
Incorrect. Brandon Clark, Memphis Grizzlies.
Skip.
Andrew Nembhard, Indiana Pacers.
He's 22.
Incorrect. Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets.
0.
Incorrect. Brandon Clark, Memphis Grizzlies.
20.
That's an offer. That's a 0. Unfortunately, not enough for the win there, Antoine, and we'll address why some people didn't hear some of your guesses in a second. But we appreciate you for playing, and I'll update everybody who's playing along at home here. So thank you very much, and hopefully you had fun. Try again with 1 difference next time. For those of you playing at home, Jamal Murray, 27, Brandon Clark, 15, Nembhard was number 2. And when you're playing the numbers game, I know it's frustrating. Actually, let's do the winner first. Congratulations, Brian in Fayetteville. You won yourself a $30 gift card to Alpaca Chicken. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Go ahead and stay on the line, and Dennis will get the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. At times, I wonder why what happened there with the second caller doesn't happen more often, because I know the numbers game is frustrating when you listen to it every day, you get them all right, and then you're on the phone and you get that first Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets, and you don't know it off the top of your head. But you have to remember that little microphone on your phone that you speak into, it picks up your mumbles under your breath also, especially when it's kind of clearly said and not mumbled. So the caller said a word that we can't say on radio. Thus, Dennis had to go to that little dump button there, and that's why many of you probably didn't hear some of his turn.
If you're watching on YouTube, you heard it.
Yeah, there you go. If you're watching on YouTube, you heard it. So just for future numbers game, it wasn't unintentional. I'm not like lecturing the contestant, other than saying, say darn it. You know what I mean? If you just, it's radio. You can't go ahead and say the bad word. So we appreciate everybody that plays. I know it's frustrating, but if you can, just avoid those little snafus. But again, Brian and Fayetteville ended up with the win. Something kind of interesting popped up on my my Twitter feed during that last commercial break. Pete Thamel of ESPN, college football reporter. We just heard, what was it? Haynes King won Offensive Player of the Year in the ACC. Brent Key, a alum of Georgia Tech, the head coach, maybe in the mix for some other jobs, but recommitted to his alma mater. He's going to stay with the Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. Well, the offensive coordinator will not be. Florida, University of Florida, the Gators, according to Pete Thamel's sources, is expected to hire Buster Faulkner as the school's next offensive coordinator. He has been the offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, and now is the offensive coordinator, or expected to be the next offensive coordinator for Florida. That's a big loss for Georgia Tech. Faulkner is a good play caller, and he fit with what Brent Key was trying to do, right? Brent Key, as I always describe him, it's almost lazy at this point for me, but I think it just tells the story so well. He's a former offensive line coach. Every offensive line coach that I've ever met thinks a little differently, right? They're a little bit more hard-nosed, a little bit more no-nonsense, a little bit more honest, if we're being real. And Buster Faulkner brought some of the pizzazz to that Georgia Tech offense, some of the things that, the modernness, so it's not all Junction Boys, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, that I think is the utopia for a lot of offensive line coaches. So he's going to Florida. Obviously, I'd assume there's a pay raise, although Faulkner was making a lot of money with Georgia Tech. I remember we talked with a Georgia Tech player, I forget who it was, at ACC Kickoff Media Days, and we talked about how the OC had signed a 7-figure per year deal just a day or two before ACC Kickoff, and we were wondering if he had, splashed on any purchases around the players, and it was just kind of a fun conversation. So I'm assuming Florida and John Summerall went deep into their pocketbooks to hire away Faulkner from Georgia Tech. We'll see if it ends up impacting Georgia Tech next year, as now they try to replace, 3-year starting quarterback Haynes King, as well as their offensive coordinator, Buster Faulkner, going into next year. They got as high as 8th in the standings and the rankings this year. So Georgia Tech had a pretty good season. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Mainer Service Company. I look at Mainer Service Company as kind of the offensive line of some of our lives, of service companies, right? There's some other flashier businesses you could have got into, right? If you ever been on social media and all of a sudden you realize you've been watching for like 6 minutes somebody cleaning a pool or somebody power washing a sidewalk that hadn't been power washed in 50 years. Those are, you can go become Instagram famous. I'm not sure that happens when you're fixing heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. But trust me, you don't care if your pool is clean, if your plumbing doesn't work and your heating doesn't work and your cooling doesn't work and your electric doesn't work, right? They're the bare bones of it. They're the meat and potatoes. They're the offensive line. They get taken for granted. But Mainer Service Company enjoys being taken for granted. Right? They want you to know no matter what, they'll be there. Right? Take us for granted. Depend on us. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all over Wake County and 50 miles in any direction from Wake County. Take it for granted that when you call, they'll pick up. They'll be friendly. They'll have great customer service. They'll come out. They'll fix what's going on in your house. They'll do a great job. They'll be respectful of your house, and they'll do so as affordably as possible. Take them for granted. I mean, just think about it. They're the offensive line of your house. They do the dirty work, the plumbing. Let's be real. Some stuff going on in the plumbing you don't want to touch. Manor Service Company, they'll come through. They'll fix it all. Some of you have had those issues. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Manor Service Company's number to save in your phone and give them a call to set up a service maintenance plan, as well as to get those emergency situations fixed up when they occur. The number, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or visit manorservices.com, MAYNOR services.com. When we come back, Carolina Hurricanes play tonight, 7 o'clock at home, Toronto. What questions do you have about Carolina going into this one? Next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Aaron Rodgers is the latest face in what has been a continuous problem for the Steelers. And I don't blame their fans for being upset. And I mean this with all due respect because you can never take away the resume from Aaron Rodgers. But Steelers fans are probably sick of a consignment quarterback. They're sick of them just shopping around in the offseason, and they don't have the quarterback of the present and of the future.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
Did you know that Bailey's Fine Jewelry has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for luxury designers, fine diamonds, and watches, but we also have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts under $500. We're celebrating making holiday gifting easy since 1948. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, Greenville, and Charlotte to see why every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with a BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are going to talk Carolina Hurricanes because they are hosting Toronto tonight. But also, I see it in your face. I hear it in your voice. You're hot to see the Carolina Hurricanes in person, aren't you? Visit 999thefan.com or fire up the 999 The Fan app, which is available in Google Play and App Stores. Leave a 5-star review if you do. And if you go to 999thefan.com or our app, you can enter to win a pair of tickets and parking. Tickets and parking. Don't forget about the parking. Is that a sign that I'm getting old?
No.
That you get a pair of tickets, and my first thought is like, yeah, but do I have to fight for parking, or is it going to be provided? Game, great, but I don't want to have to. I want to know where to go when I get there.
Hey, parking included. That's awesome.
It is. It's including. I'm way more excited going to a game if I know where I'm parking. The game is the Canes-Columbus game. Canes against Columbus on December 9th, so we're getting close to it. You have until Friday, this Friday, that's tomorrow, to enter. So check out our Hurricanes hot ticket giveaway at 999thefan.com and the 999thefan app, and you could win yourself that pair of tickets and parking. Now, let's talk about the game tonight. Carolina Hurricanes, Toronto. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feels like a long time since the Canes played. I mean, they just like an extra day, right? But it feels like a long time. So today in my prep, I just felt like I wanted to phrase it this way. And Dennis, you can answer this, or it could be rhetorical, and I can just go into what I was going to do. What are the biggest questions about the Canes right now, with one caveat, excluding goalie? I think we're all curious as to where the goaltending rotation goes, particularly when Pyotr Kochetkov gets back. For those of you just tuning in, it's going to be Freddie Anderson in net for tonight. Other than that, what are the biggest questions? Because here's my contention, okay? This is like a debate class, right? Here is my hypothesis that my teammates and I will attempt to prove and defend. Outside of goalie, I think the questions about the Canes at this point, now that they're getting healthier, are pretty much just solved by patience. Right? I don't like it's. I get very frustrated in life when I'm in these situations. I say it to my wife all the time. If there is something we're dealing with, right? And early in my career, if I had like career frustrations, or if there's something that we have to fix, I don't know, in our lives, I get very frustrated when there's nothing I can do. I don't like being sick, because so often the way you get better from being sick is you just rest, right? You just lay around, you sleep, you drink liquids, and I'm like, no, there has to be something. Can I run on the treadmill? Can I do, like, what can I do? When it's just like, no, just keep doing what you're doing, just relax. I think the Canes might be there, and that's frustrating, right? For a long time, it was, try this guy at second line center. Oh, move this guy. Bring up this prospect. Get Nikishin in. Like, there was all these big things you wanted to see. But right now, it's like, well, they are playing, at least as of their most recent game, they gave Nikishin second-team power play minutes. Second line center, Stankoven's been playing well. That second line's playing really well. Aho, Jarvis, Svetch, it's working. The Stahl line is what the Stahl line always has been. As they get more healthy, the fourth line, I believe they kind of like what's working there as far as being able to score and have some size on the fourth line. We know what the blue line is when they're healthy. We know the six. And now you have Nystrom, who's proven to be pretty darn good if he needs to be called upon. So outside of goalie, like, I'm not saying they're a complete product, right? I don't think they're scoring enough. Their special teams have not been good enough in many ways. But, like I'll put it this way. Jordan Stahl, the last two practices, has been running with power play 1. I'm not saying, I like, no bad ideas, try anything, right? But I kind of think they have the right guys on the power play units. Right? I kind of think what they've been doing is what you should be doing. You just gotta wait. You gotta see if it works. You gotta give them more time. And I know it's guys that have been playing together a lot, so that might sound foolish, but I think it's like the regression to the mean. Right? If you had, I always think of like, analogies to football because it's what I played. If you have a wide receiver that's catching 10 passes a game and through 8 games he has like 1 touchdown, I don't think it's like, well, we can't keep throwing to him. He's not going to score touchdowns. It's like, no, actually, just give it time. He's going to have like a 3-touchdown game. It's all gonna catch up. If you have good penalty killers and your penalty kill isn't living up to expectations, I don't think you immediately go to like, we got to change everything. Sometimes it's like, no, actually the good guys will start playing well. It's just patience. Now, goalie, different, right? Goalie, we can have out there opinions, right? Start Bussy, he's the guy, or Pyotr Kochetkov, goalie one, trade for this guy. Goalie, you can have the kind of more out there conversations. But when it comes to the skaters, once Stankoven worked, once, Kokiniemi went healthy, centering that fourth line, throw Robinson and whoever else you want out there. Like when that's all in line, and once Slavin gets healthy, I think it's just like, just set the oven to 375, and wait, which is very frustrating. And also, by the way, makes my job more difficult just to be selfish, right? It's not great radio to go, no, I think they got it. What else you want to talk about? Like, hey, if they just wait, I think things will get better. Right? It's much more fun to suggest Jordan Stahl, power play 1 from now until forever. Let's talk about it. Which they might try tonight, who knows? And that'll be entertaining as heck, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I don't know if it's that time yet. I think it's a patience deal, which, by the way, the Canes are exceptional at. The Canes are much better at it than I am. Rod Brindamore is much better at it than I am. Most professional coaches would be much better at it than I would be. I am infatuated with the next idea. Right? I can't even think of myself as a hockey coach because I don't know enough about the X's and O's and everything. But if I were a football coach, I think I would be the guy that's always obsessed with the backup quarterback. Like, ooh, what can I do with that? Oh, let me go trade for this next quarterback. When in actuality, you might have the best one on your roster. You just need to work, and you need to keep getting better and keep finding a way. What do you think is the biggest question about the skaters for the Carolina Hurricanes right now?
I mean, outside of what you laid out in terms of special teams, I don't really think there is a whole lot of question other than health.
Yeah, it's true. Health is always an issue.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at, we'll single out the power play.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any ideas on how to fix it?
Win faceoffs. That's a true tangible thing. I know when I filled in on Friday last week. Oh, I'm sorry, on Wednesday last week when I was filling in for you. I researched up until that point what the power play face-off percentage was for the Canes, and it was just over 44%.
And I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but Sebastian Aho isn't a bad face-off guy.
No, he's not.
You know what I mean? Like it might just be, just wait. He'll figure, like he'll do it better. Like his overall face-off percentage isn't awful. At least it's not as bad as it is on power play.
Yeah. It's still not that great. I mean, his power play faceoff percentage is pulling his overall down, but overall in his career, he's generally been pretty good.
Yeah, like he's not a bad faceoff guy. I think it's just patience in a lot of this stuff, and it goes back to it's like maybe a trait that you just need to be a hockey fan or definitely a hockey coach. If somebody's getting good shots and the goals aren't going in, I think it's really difficult to just say no, don't change anything, right? Keep doing what you're doing. The goals will come, right? If you go, a stretch where you're 12% on the power play, but you think they're playing well, they're just not winning faceoffs or they're getting looks and they're not converting. I think it's a really tough thing to just say, yeah, we're not going to change much. We're just going to keep it going, even though you're 12% over the last 5 games or whatever it is. We're just gonna keep it rolling. So keep doing it. I think that's a really tough thing to do. But for most of the questions about the Canes right now. Again, I keep saying it, outside of goalie, I kind of think that's the best way to move forward. And I'm almost saying it on air now to make sure that I hold myself to it moving forward. Because there's a possibility tomorrow I'm going to come in after watching the game and go, nope, here's what it is. Especially if like Fensori plays or something, I'm like, he needs to stay because he had a goal or whatever it is. Sometimes the most obvious answer or the best answer is the least exciting answer. It's just chill. And that's very frustrating to me. I always want there to be something I can do. What can I do to help? What can I do? Can I fix it? Should I go get my tools? Like I always want to do something to fix the problem. And sometimes it's like, no, I'll get over it. Time will heal. No, it'll get better. You just got to wait. I was the guy, and this actually maybe goes back to when I was a kid. I remember vividly. I broke my thumb playing youth baseball. I was probably like 9 or 10 years old. before I got out of a cast. I was back out in the outfield making catches and trying to find a way to throw it with a cast on my thumb because it was like, no, I can't just wait for it to get better. I need to be out there doing something. Like that's where I exist. And I think the Canes need to exist on the other end of the spectrum for a little bit. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, if you want to see the Canes live in person for their Columbus game when they host Columbus on December 9th, you can head to 999thefan.com or the 99.9 The Fan app to register. That pair of tickets you could win. It comes with parking. And don't forget, we are 34 minutes away from Stormwatch with Adam Gold, getting you ready for the Canes puck drop at 7 o'clock at home against Toronto. You can enjoy that game right here on 99.9 The Fan. In the meantime, the next half hour leading up to Stormwatch, we have Overdrive, including we're going to start off with Manny Diaz, head coach, Duke football, heading into the ACC championship. Our conversation from earlier up next. Until tomorrow, have a great night, everybody.
We're in a different kind of sports season on 99.9 The Fan, the giving season. So, once again, we're back with our station tradition, the 10 Days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's and Surfside Vodka. Starting December 8th, we celebrate our connection to our hometown hockey team by giving you stuff. Let's stuff your stocking this Monday as we drop the puck on the 10 Days of Canesmas. Ho, ho, ho!
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a comfort